We are red. Red is on.
All right, today is Thursday, August 10th, 2017. Let this meeting of the Tilton Board of Selectmen now come to order. It's a direct show that Ashley's not with us yet, but is on her way. Let's stand and do Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Finance Director, 445.
Okay, I have two quick things to review with you this evening. The first is a proposed schedule for the 2018 budget preparation. So it's in your email and it's also in your packets. It's basically September, October, and November work that's scheduled out, and I've made some recommendations as to dates and times, and that if we do the same thing as last year and coordinate with the Budget Committee when they have a schedule, that there'd be perhaps 2 dates in October where we'd be getting together with the Budget Committee to review outside agencies. I have recommended that the department heads present their draft budgets by September 1st, and if the Budget Committee is using the same deadline as in prior years, October 1st, for outside agencies to provide them information, I think this should serve at least as a good guide for you to take a look at. But otherwise, I'm going to notify department heads that September 1st they have to have at least their draft budgets in. And I'll be presenting and providing the board with a lot of historical information and data for which you can use in the budget process.
So you're proposing the Budget Committee's deadline date for receiving outside agencies is October 1st.
Well, that's what they typically do,
That's
since we don't have any control over it. So that's usually, they have a form, and that's the date that I believe that's on the form.
So, and you only have 2 dates for reviewing outside agencies, 10/11 and 10/18.
Right.
Usually, typically, if I remember, that goes over 2 months.
There could be more. It just depends on how coordinated it is, but in general, it would be on the Wednesdays that those outside agencies are coming in to see the Budget Committee.
So we might want to add an et cetera to that?
Right. In other words, there'd be more than one, clearly.
We usually present sometime in September, in November to the...
Yeah, we usually postpone to get there in December.
Well, I put down as November 29th, which is a Wednesday, for the Budget Committee, as a planning date to present the budget to the Budget Committee.
What typically we do is we wait and see what came in, and then start scheduling them out, confer with the Select Board to determine if there's any that it's not necessary for them to come in, because it's a pretty straightforward thing over years. So it should be maybe even 4 or 5 dates that we'll be spreading them out over. But the Budget Committee will work with the Select Board directly for their schedule too.
Now, consequence, they don't have them in by the 1st or the 30th, and that happens every year. So, as a consequence, can we suggest asking this of the board? So, in other words, if department heads don't have their budgets for us by September 1st at 5 p.m., the selectmen will create that portion of their budget? Same thing for the outside, for boards and commissions?
It's usually not the departments that we're waiting on, unless there's something that, we're waiting on some specific pricing on something that for some reason we don't have. It's close, but we need more exact pricing. Usually it's going to be some of the commissions, the boards or commissions.
We waited for last year?
There is usually each year, yeah.
So perhaps that, what do you think of adding that to a notice going out? That if they want to give us their suggested budget by that date, they'll be fine, but if we aren't received, the selectmen will prepare it.
I think that that's fine, because they've got now August, September, October, August, September to start looking at their budget now, and they're already thinking about next year.
I would hope, yeah.
Peter, what do you think?
Sure.
John?
That would have to be to the budget committee on that date too. It's not just to the select board.
This is like,
This is just the selectmen's budget.
Because
This is the preparation of the selectmen's budget. Remember, those are not their budgets. This is the selectmen's
that would be a
budget.
draft to us, John, and then we up or down it, and then it goes draft to the budget committee after that.
Well, we
I
don't
would
normally send the
confer
budget
to
committee
the
draft.
chairman on that one.
Just refer to the Municipal Budget Act. The budget committee has the right to call in any department head, whatever, but the preparation of the selectmen's budget is the selectmen's, Board of Selectmen.
Usually what they come before us, several times we tweaked it, depending on if something's come up in between. And then we finalize it, and then it goes to the budget committee.
The budget committee could also concurrently do their budget and their determination
Oh,
of it.
absolutely.
Budget committee
Yeah,
should create their
absolutely.
own budget.
And that's why I'm
Yep.
saying that when it's
Absolutely.
submitted to the select board, it should be submitted to the budget committee so they can begin to look at it too.
Our draft, so when
The
we're,
budget committee could actually request a copy of the budget from each department and set a date.
you
for it.
have the right to ask the selectmen for their budget, but I'm not sure about it. We'll have to look at further into that, because remember, it is our budget, and we may not be ready to send a draft to the budget committee till closer to November. But if the budget committee wants to
Look into that.
create their own budget, which I always thought would be a great thing for the budget committee to do, rather than just adopt the selectmen's, that'd be fabulous.
The biggest thing is usually by the time the budget committee gets the copies from the selectmen, it's quite late in the year. I think they'd like to start in October and November to have at least a pretty good idea in a draft,
I think
so we
that,
can see where it's going, and then it could be adjusted from then. And like I said, I'm representing the budget committee, but I'm not the chair, so I think we'd have to. But this sounds good, like a start for the schedule.
Yeah, it's just a proposed
just-
start, and really, something that the board needs to think about more than anything is, can you dedicate 2 hours on each Thursday night at some point in time that,
typically, no.
right, so, so really I think that's the bigger issue, how to sort of, work that into your schedule.
We're going to end up.
While we are talking about this, we should also think about what John said, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to. If they have their stuff into us by the first part of September, in the end, that by the first part of November, we would be able to send a draft of our budget, complete budget to them.
Well, and keep in mind too, the budget committee will also see what the department request was, then they'll see the changes that no matter when, what goes to the budget committee when, they'll see all 3 columns of what the department request was, what the selectmen approved, and then there'll be a column for the budget committee as well. So, again, that's just a suggested timeline, but I will
Good one.
notify the department heads.
With that caveat. We had a consensus that we're going to add that little caveat.
For boards and commissions,
And department heads.
and for departments, okay.
Is one thing, when we do ask the outside agencies, we're pretty strict about when they have to have it in, and they would have to have some extreme circumstances for us to accept any budget from an outside agency that's submitted past the deadline. Contact and say, hey, we're just waiting for this, we're bringing it in 3 more days or something. But that's a very strict number, so we don't keep adding on.
Right. So the second item I had was regarding electricity rates, and as you may recall, about a month ago, we had taken part in an investigation with Lakes Region Planning Commission for aggregating our kilowatt hours along with many other towns and school districts. And in your packet and in your email is this, there's a memorandum of understanding, which this is the next step in the process where they've identified that based on the planning rates that they have from all the interested parties, that the town of Tilton, our portion alone, will save about $9,000 per year. Actually, they have it as high as I think $9,700, or $9,798. It's on the very back of your packet. It shows what our savings is. But those are still planning rates, so I was just using $9,000 as a more conservative figure. So it represents roughly 18% of our total electricity budget, so it's a pretty significant savings. The process, though, is there are a number of things that we have to coordinate with them. We need to provide them more authorization and access to our accounts, our electricity accounts. And there are a number of tasks that have to be done by us and some by them to proceed forward. Any agreement that we have will not be with Lakes Region Planning Commission for the electricity. We'll have our own contract with whichever electric supplier is chosen by the consortium. So what I recommend is that the board agree to sign this memorandum of understanding, and there needs to be a contact person. I would recommend, since I'm probably the one most familiar with all the accounts, that I be that contact person. And for the purposes of expediency and authorization for anything else they may need in this process, I would ask the board that you permit me to sign the memorandum of understanding, so that I can, and I will be presenting back to you any information that we get from them as to planning rates, time frame, things like that.
Well, the motion is to allow Tim Pearson to be our authorized representative and sign this document. So you'd be signing the document to be an authorized representative to Lakes Region Planning for negotiating this electrical
For this,
memorandum of understanding.
yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
So seconded. Everybody understand? Oh, gosh, hello, I didn't see your name. Everybody understand the motion on the table? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The signer
Aye.
and negotiator.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Okay. That is all I have.
So we do Public Works Director now?
I'm here to support him as well. Take him in the hot seat. Got it all warmed up.
All right. What?
Well, first is R&D got with me today, and they'd like to do the top coat on Ridge Road on Monday. The cost that they gave me was going to be, to finish the job, was going to be $22,000, which the total for the whole jobs that they gave us on the contract was $115,000, and we've paid them $92,000, which falls short of, it's going to be end up being like around, I think it was $1,400 less than what they gave us in the estimate. So it's going to be under what they gave us on the contract. So, which is, I don't know how they're doing it, but hey, I'm not going to argue with them.
Then to win.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not. No, I'm not going to allow
Well,
that.
I know that's how they're gonna try.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Okay.
So I just wanted
good
to make sure that was all
information.
right. And then,
To be under,
okay.
anybody agree, anybody disagree with that? being underbid.
I'll wait
You're
till
funny.
it's done to
You're
confirm.
funny. That's good news, thank you for bringing that to us.
Wow. A rose between two thorns?
Yeah, is that what that is? And next is, I have been working actually with Tim and myself to come up with a plan to upgrade our department's equipment. I do have a printout. Most of you have been down to see it. It is still down there.
Yeah, I can go check it out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's right there beside the.
You know, I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought, when they were talking about checking out the equipment, I thought it was the lawnmower trailer.
Yeah.
Well, I heard about all the updating to it, and all the stuff that was added to it, to hold all the equipment. I didn't realize you had
And it's simplified, and I have a packet here that shows all the equipment and everything, all the specs on it. I didn't do one individually because there's so much of it, but everything is right in this book. It's going to simplify everything. As far the international, I'd like to trade that, but I would like to not replace it with another CDL truck, where we're saving money by not spending $20 an hour to hire a guy. This truck, I'd like to trade it for another 1-ton with a wing and a plow on the front of it to do our interior roads, which is going to save us almost $100,000 over buying the new truck, which we anticipated we were going to buy in the fall anyway, or in the spring, to replace the 90, which is up for replacement. So this is just about half of what that would cost, and anybody can drive it. I don't have to pay somebody $25 an hour with a CDL to do it. It can be used by anybody, and it still pretty much has the same, with the exception of a couple of thousand pounds as far as hauling and a couple of feet shy with the wing. It's still pretty much got the same footprint, plowing footprint, as the six-wheeler would have, but very much more maneuverable.
So why have any heavy trucks at all?
Because it's safe to move when we've got to haul sand and stuff. We're still going to have 2 heavy trucks to haul bigger stuff that we need. It's not, I don't want to do away with all our big trucks.
So right now you have 3.
3 big trucks, yes,
You want to reduce it to 2.
to 2. Which, those 2 trucks together don't have 60,000 miles on it, which tells me that big trucks have been sitting in the barn for, seeing as how one of them's an 06 and one of them's a 99. They haven't done a whole lot of hauling to begin with. I think they've been used more this year than they have in the past years, as far as summertime work and whatnot, besides plowing.
Anybody have any questions on that part?
Which part?
Why we're getting rid of one of the big dumps?
Why are we doing this stuff?
Just because I want to reduce one of the big dump trucks down to a smaller size that anybody can drive. And it's still, we don't need it. It's just, and it
And
costs.
it doesn't work, or?
No, it works, but it's a 1990. It's 30 years old.
So we're gonna
almost
get rid of it? Are we gonna sell
We're going
it?
to trade it in for this, towards the new.
Is $100-something dollars?
No. We're going to trade. If you look on the top, the first one, it goes down. It shows the proposal for the replacement, what they're going to give us for the trade-in value. If you look on the back, we're going to get $21,500 for the truck.
They get 20 grand by the time it happens. Still, if it's more, you're happy. So the
Which $21,000 for a almost 30-year-old truck that's doing well.
So the 550, you only need a DOT fiscal card, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's it.
You still put a wing on it?
And it's going to have a wing and a plow on it. It'll have a 10-foot plow still on it, just like the.
So will we have to buy a new plow and wing for it?
It's all, yeah, it's coming with the package.
Right.
Yep.
John had some,
Just comments on it. One of the things that is at great risk for the town is in the middle of the winter, if a CDL driver gets injured, goes out on some type of medical leave or something, or if they quit and go for another contractor, which typically leaves us scrambling to try and find somebody, because now we have nobody to plow the road. I did take a look at the trucks, and I discussed with Brock a little bit over it, ran some things past him. And I think it would behoove us to have the ability that we could pick up pretty much any driver that can drive that vehicle and plow the roads in a pretty quick time. Anybody with a CDL license could just jump in the truck and start plowing in emergency.
And it will be an automatic, yes.
The other part of it is, and I discussed this with Brock a little bit, to see if he had the numbers, is we also have to look at the fact that the larger trucks would last 30 years.
Yes.
However, this truck would only last 10 years. So we would be therefore have to shift our whole replacement schedule based on that. And Brock went through the numbers, and I think it was like $8,000 difference that would cost because of that shift. If
Right.
you moved it to like 12 years, it would be different. But Brock actually spent a lot of time trying to get this thing so that I couldn't punch a hole in it.
I did too.
And I tried. And you know how I like to try and do that. So just comment, I'm sold on it. If we still have the big trucks, if we had to haul like a large rock or something that would be a little rougher on a 550 bed, we'd still have
And
that.
to be completely honest with you, the 550, it's not that much more weight that the six-wheeler hauls than that 550 does with the, because I spec'd it with the heavy payload package. So in all aspects, you can haul up to 26,000 pounds in that little truck. You just can't go over it because then you're dipping into CDL territory. And I'm not going to put 26,000 pounds on the one ton, but it's there.
So now you're gonna go into the second piece of equipment, which is you're gonna trade in the Caterpillar that we just got in 2014, which is 3 years old, and replace it with an excavator and another kind of a bucket loader, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So-
Another loader, an actual loader.
My question is, what if we kept the Caterpillar and rented when we needed the excavator? Have you researched that?
Yeah, I haven't. No, I have. I didn't rent it. I didn't think about renting an excavator because it's the backhoe. For what I want to get, what I'm trying to explain is that a lot of the ditching and whatnot hasn't been done, and the backhoe isn't designed. I mean, it's good for going over there and digging out a culvert, going over there and digging out a culvert. But as far as actually ditching a road, it's really not like you saw it. I did Linden with it the other day, and it took me almost all day to do that. With an excavator, I could have done that by noontime. It would have been done. It's just it moves better. I can go off road and dig the ditches with it. The trailer, I know there was some question about how we were going to move it. There's a trailer that's already in the works for the whole deal. It's going to come for the excavator, and we'll move it with the Peterbilt. That's all right in the paperwork. And as far as the loader, I don't have to sub out calling for somebody to come remove my snow. If I'm working over there, now I can stockpile material at the yard, so I don't have to run to Pike and pay double for what I can haul it out of the yard for, because I'll be working with the excavator over there, and I still have a machine at the shop to load material. Where it is right now, if I'm working over on River Road and I need a load of material, I can't go back to the shop and get a load of material because I got nothing to load it with. So now I got to go to Pike and pay double for what I've got sitting in my yard already.
Why can't you load with the current loader?
I can, but if I'm using it, it's not there.
Okay, but you're replacing it with, you intend to replace it.
With a bucket, with an actual loader.
Oh, I thought we had an actual loader backhoe.
We have a loader backhoe. I'm replacing the loader backhoe with an excavator and a loader. That's what I'm saying. For
You're taking one piece of equipment and proposing two.
And for $70,000, which is the end number here, that we'll have to finance. I'm gonna have a brand new excavator, a brand new loader, a new truck with plow and wing, and a trailer to move it.
I'm not worried about brand new, I'm worried about what these pieces of equipment can do as opposed to what we already have. So you're taking this big loader and getting a smaller loader to replace it?
No, here,
Taking a 1.5 yard loader, replacing it with a 3.5 yard loader.
That's what's
Load
gonna-
trucks from the ground, doesn't need the ramp.
That's just a
It
back.
can use the ramp.
that's what's gonna be in the yard for a loader.
Okay,
And this,
what do we have now?
Well,
And-
you should have started with the pictures.
and, and this, well, that's why I sent out the email a week ago for everybody to come down and check it out. It's been there for,
It's nice.
That's a
I've
little
seen
one.
it several times.
it's a 18,0and pound, it's not a little one.
Well, it's not a big one.
It's, yeah, but we don't need a
I don't
big
mean
one.
a toy, it's
Right.
not a toy,
No,
it's
it's
the
not.
little one.
We
Okay.
don't need a big
Can
one.
we go back to the loader?
Yep.
So what do we have currently?
We have a Caterpillar backhoe,
The 420.
the 420,
Loader,
which is a
loader
two and a
I have a
half.
combo. I have a Ford.
Yes, we have a
loader
combo,
backhoe.
that's
So
correct.
you have a combo,
It
loader
has,
backhoe.
right.
This one is heavier than what we have.
Oh, God, yeah.
Definitely.
This is design, and like I said, this, I can load trucks, while this,
Which has a better
It's
reach,
working.
this or what we have in that loader?
I can load the six-wheelers without a ramp with this. I can't, I gotta have a ramp to
Okay,
load
I
them with
heard
the
ramp,
backhoe.
but there was other talking, so I
Yeah.
didn't hear the whole.
You can load the six-wheeler, the big truck, with a sander in the back with this without having a ramp.
Alright, that's what I'm looking for.
The backhoe, I have to drive up on a ramp to load the truck now without a
Yeah,
sander in
I
it.
understood that.
So, it's,
It's a
and-
Kawasaki.
yeah, well, it comes
What
with
do
the
you, what
best,
do you want?
yeah, it comes with the best, $200,000.
Well, there's a reason.
It comes with probably one of the, it comes with a better warranty than the John Deere does.
So Tim, is this in the budget for them?
Uh,
Their budget?
Well, we do have money in the capital reserve fund, and with the money we're putting in this year, we'll have over 105,000. And the amount that we would have to finance, we have a plan where we can pay that off within 3 to 5 years and still be putting some money into the capital reserve for equipment. So I feel as though it's very doable, and I've reviewed the numbers. I think it's really cost effective. The 21.5 that we're getting for the 90, they've preserved that price from the very first quote, or one of the very first quotes. They've had that trade-in value, so it hasn't decreased any. So I believe we've got the money to be able to do this, and it would all be done off of our main budget. In other words, we wouldn't be raising taxes, any additional taxes to fund this.
So it looks like from this formula or proposal, let's call it that, this budget and formula, that no money will come out of this budget whatsoever.
Out of our operating budget.
It'll come out of the
So
reserve fund.
it'll come out of the reserve fund, and
Which we
then...
were gonna use towards, well, was gonna be put towards towards a new, to replacing the six-wheeler.
Replace just the truck.
Right.
And the only caveat is that we would expect to continue to put in at least 35,000 a year into that
To start
highway
the new-
equipment reserve
What
fund.
kind of loss are we taking on the new loader we just bought?
Not really that much. I don't,
There
probably.
is a loss.
Yeah, well, there's a loss with anything. As soon as you drive it off the lot, you lose with anything.
No,
But they're giving us $85,000 for it. I think we paid 105 for it or something like that. So it's not terrible.
After
They're
the,
gonna
after
say 85, so they're gonna
we'll trade it
20,000.
in.
John, go ahead.
One of the things that Brock pointed out, and I don't know if he emphasized enough here, is that presently every storm within 48 hours,
We have to clean
they have to
72.
clean 72 hours. They have to remove all the snow from the center of town. One of our biggest problems is removing snow storage and doing that. He can't do that with the bucket loader that we have. It cannot be done because he can't lift the snow to get it into the truck to do it.
Right.
This will allow him
And
to
to do it
be-
efficiently, you have to have an even bigger truck to get the snow out of you, depending on the storm. Which doesn't mean I'm not gonna have to get another truck, a bigger truck, when we're trying to move all this snow. But it's gonna save us $110 an hour paying somebody to come in for a loader to do it.
We've actually been paying a little bit more than that.
Right.
Yeah. It's been about 200.
So
That would
are you
also include
suggesting that
cleaning the
instead
snow
of
and
hiring
snow
somebody to
storage.
do the cleanup, we could do it ourselves?
Correct.
Might have
Absolutely.
additional trucks.
Absolutely. We will have to, yeah, we don't have, with what we've got for trucks, it would take twice as long. We can do it with what we have for trucks. And I'm working on something with that, with the guys right now, so we can reduce that. If we come in a little later and we push everything off the streets into the main road and push it down, and then if somebody's down there to push it out back, we can come back during the day and haul it off ourselves.
Remember, you're
But I-
pushing it into the state's road.
But also.
No, I'm pushing it onto the sidewalk, and we push it into the state road now.
When you're cleaning it up.
And that's what we're gonna do. What I'm saying is, say we've got snow on the sidewalk.
Yep,
We got the banks. After we plowed, there's a bank on the sidewalk.
yep,
We come down the sidewalk, we push all the banks off so the sidewalks are clean of snow.
yep.
We push it out on the street. Now I take the loader and run it down the edge to the entrance, down by the T-hop, and somebody's there pushing it out back to get all the snow off the street, so when you come in the morning, you're like, oh my God, look, there's no snow. But all the snow's gonna be out back. But the next day, instead of paying overtime all night long, the next day the guys come in, we back the trucks in, we load it, and we go. Because we have the loader at our disposal. We don't have to wait for Kenny. If Kenny's busy, it's right there. We
What
have
do you
it.
do with the snow on this side of the street?
On what side? It all goes right out there. Well, we all
You're gonna
call
put
it.
all the snow from both sides down into the Tilton, well, it's the town's parking lot, but into that parking lot?
Well, no, we'll haul some of it off, but what I'm saying is what we don't get to save money can go out there, the main streets. All the stuff from School Street
You have to
can
remember,
go up to the,
tenants park there.
So if you keep in mind also the fact that we won't be having to rent a loader, or pay for loader hours during the winter, and then you look at we wouldn't be having to rent excavators, during the summer for the ditching or the
But I
spring.
think that that's also a little bit unrealistic, because
so.
if you look at the hours that we spend on salt sand in the winter that we had with just salt and sand and not a heavy salt winter, a snow winter, if you spend 12, 14, 15 hours day after day, 4 or 5 days in a row, and then you have the guys all night cleaning up the main street, and you don't have Kenny or someone else doing it while the guys are at home getting a few hours shut-eye, it's totally unrealistic, because now you're having those guys that just came off of 40-hour
When Kenny-
straight hours
when
doing
Kenny's
it.
out here doing it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but it's just, when Kenny's out there doing it, we're out there too.
Some of them are,
No, everybody's out there.
not everyone.
Who's not out there?
Last year, not everyone was out there.
Every time we cleaned up snow, everybody was out there. The only one that would go home would be me.
Food comes out.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's
I'll stay there till 11, 12 o'clock at night, but I don't get paid to be there all night
Well,
long.
yeah, but you made a statement that we wouldn't, we could do the cleanup ourselves, but I think that that's an unrealistic statement, that's all. It's not whether I disagree or agree with what you're trying to accomplish and what your proposal is. I'm not saying that. I think it's a good proposal. However, I think your statement is unrealistic, thinking that if you have a tough winter and your guys are working 20-hour days, that they're going to be all night. We have an ordinance that has to get rid of it in 72 hours, that you're going to make a statement that we're not ever going to use Kenny for cleanup. There are going to be some times when you're coming off of day after day after day shifts. I don't want you to get caught on camera to say, oh, we'll never use Kenny.
Well, no, and that's why I said, I'm not
That's
saying that we're gonna
unrealistic.
completely do away.
That's what
I
I'm
said
saying.
that before, we're not.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just think it's unrealistic.
Right.
Let's not argue about it, we each have different thoughts. Yeah, I don't see us maybe in a small storm. The bigger storms, you're definitely gonna need help.
Agree.
So we're getting rid of a 2600 GVWR to a 19.5. Is the new truck going to be able to hold our sanders?
It's coming with its own.
And it was,
It's coming with a brand new one. Everything, that truck is coming fully outfitted with a brand new sander, a brand new plow, brand new wings, the whole works.
Stainless sander.
Stainless sander, the whole works.
so what is the capacity of that sander as opposed to What would go on the bigger truck?
The bigger trucks, you probably can put 5 yards on,
What can you put in this one?
3.5.
1.5, yes.
And the big trucks, to be honest with you, if I fill a big truck up to do the inlines, which is the interior, you don't use a whole load. So I think it's gonna end up actually equaling out to be just about perfect as far as,
I think we use too much soap anyway. Okay.
oh, and there'll be fuel savings as opposed to a big truck to the smaller
You've looked at
truck.
this and you're,
I tried punching holes in this to the best of my ability. Only, I said
I sat at
told
the
you
desk
I
and
would do it.
yeah, you
You've
did
seen me
too.
do it every time.
I'll give you-
I've
I
been-
will
I'm gonna
tell
take a $20,000 bite on the new, I mean, thin backhoe. Loader backhoe.
We can subtract a little bit for that, because the
You
backhoe
had-
needs
How
4
many
brands,
years of
right?
use, Catherine?
I know, it doesn't seem
How many
like
years have we
much
had
to
it?
me.
Yeah.
The 2.5? 2?
Great.
3?
So it's 2014,
Three.
and it was early 2014.
Is that when we got it?
Yep.
Okay, so 3 years, we'll take a $20,000 hit on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, the backhoe's, it's got, and like I said, you can subtract a little bit of that, because you're gonna put $3,500 worth of rubber on it before the winter, because
But that would be normal maintenance on any,
it would, but I mean, it's still money that's gotta be thrown at it.
Right.
Yeah.
do they lose it down to what, 16.5?
Do you, to be trained on this, are there places that you can send them to get trained on this?
Already on top of it.
Well,
We're
I
already
wanna
signed
hear
up.
it.
We're signed up. The main operators of the thing, which was going to be Johnny or Leland for now, and myself are signed up for excavator and loader class. So that can be, well, if we're gonna, I'm
You
thinking
got a
ahead of the game.
backhoe loader, an excavator is just really a backhoe without a loader.
It's gonna, and
You're
it,
already operating it.
right.
I mean, I'm delighted you're
Pat-
taking
I
class.
like it.
Catherine,
Get
the
education. I think
existing
that's
one, the
great.
420, the boom is out behind you.
An
You're
excavator's
working
off to
either
the
this
side.
way or sideways,
And
or in an
I
arc,
put
or
a
in an
loader
arc.
excavator, and
Wait,
when I'm
wait,
sitting like this and it's in front of me.
an excavator or a loader
I've run
backhoe?
both.
Well, the loader backhoe, you've got limited reach. The Yanmar he's looking at can set side
Oh, I know,
offset.
it's a spinner.
I can sit, well, no, with this machine,
Isn't this a spinner?
it is, yeah, but, and it's zero turn too. The
Yeah.
machine doesn't go out wider than the tracks.
Test for zero
But,
turn.
yes, she can. And I can attest to being out of the way when she's zero turning.
So like I said, I mean, I'm all for the safety, but
The other thing is, Catherine, with the backhoe, I couldn't go out back and dig that trench that we were talking about digging out there. With this, I can sit with the machine facing this way and just twist the boom itself sideways and dig like this with the machine facing forward.
oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know it's a much more versatile machine, but I'm sitting here wondering, how often do we need it? I know you do ditching, but ditching isn't every week of the month in the season.
It can be here, it just hasn't been.
Well, okay, but then that means that
Sidewalk repair, Catherine?
You can do-
That
Picking
means
up
we're-
chunks of asphalt?
That means we're not doing all the other work that needs to be done if we're just doing ditching.
Is that the lawn mowing?
It's lawn mowing, it's
Well,
cutting brush
okay,
back.
well, let me reiterate on this. I have done all the brush cutting myself. I haven't hired out any of that. I've done all my own brush cutting. The lawn mowing, that used to take 3 days, we do it all in 1 day now.
Nice.
There's not, I mean, we're stepping this game up, and it's time to step the whole game up, not just half of it. We're getting a lot of work done. I mean, we're getting a lot more work done than I even myself, I'm like, well, we're getting it done.
So you recently had to do some work on Manville Road,
Yes, I did.
repairing a drain.
I did.
A culvert, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah. Would the excavator have shortened the duration of the job?
A ton. And that's not just because I can sit over the hole with an excavator and dig and just keep rolling back. I can go across, as long as it's not 10 feet wide, I can drive the excavator across the hole while it's open.
I'm
I
very
can't- you can't
familiar
do that
with
with
an
a backhoe.
excavator and what it can do in the various sizes, but I'm trying to relate it to town work.
One other thing.
Would you, let's say we replace the sidewalks on Main Street, would you be able to use that excavator to remove the asphalt?
Absolutely.
Where you don't have a piece of equipment now that would do that?
The backhoe gives you limited mobility in close to the buildings.
Right, I mean, you don't have.
And every time you, now, let me put this in perspective for you. I'm digging the asphalt out, okay? I dig the length of this table right here. Now I've got to spin around, lift the outriggers up, change everything around, spin around, put it in gear, and move back. With the excavator, I reach down, grab the handles, and I move back, and keep digging.
It's more efficient.
It's very much more efficient.
John?
And it'll lift 7,000 pounds, it'll lift more than the backhoe will lift.
The other thing I noticed, we go through a good amount of tires on our setup that we have now. And one of the things that we'll be eliminating is, let's say Brock was, I can't believe him, but
I
doing this, this is great for me.
John.
It's okay, John, take a breath.
Okay.
On tape, we're gonna use it against you someday.
I know. But let's say he's on Manville Road and he's digging over there and he says, oh, I need to go and get a bunch of riprap or gravel from what I got at the garage. Okay, no problem. What we do now, lift up the arms, drive the backhoe, the loader bucket, drive it back to the garage with the truck, load it into the truck, then everybody drives back to the job site. Everything stops in there. Instead, he could go and say,
Go get me a
go to the
load.
garage. Jumps in the loader, scoops it up, puts it in there, gets the stuff that's needed, appropriate for the job, brings it up. Brock,
And then again-
or John or whoever's fighting over gets to use it.
I think Johnny's pretty well claimed the loader if we get it. And another thing is I've cleaned the back up top. You can ask Pat, attest to that. I've cleaned it and Peter's seen it too. So I've made it so we can stockpile material up there. If I call somebody and say, okay, I want 50 yards of this, I'm gonna buy that a lot cheaper than I am if I go get one load at a time from Pike. If I can stockpile it at the shop, I can buy it. If you buy in bulk, you get a better deal. Just, you know what I mean? Instead of buying one load. Right now, to put it in perspective, I go to Coldbrook right now to get my ledge pack. With a six-wheeler, I drive it over there and come back, it's $57 a load. I was doing that job over on River Road, and we had to go to Pike to get one because I didn't have anything to load it. It was $160. Because I didn't have the machine to load it. And like John says, now you got to pick everything up, move everybody from one end of town to the other.
It's a rubber truck excavator, huh?
It is.
Wait for you.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to go with this proposal.
No, I don't like it better than metal, but you can use it on asphalt where you can on metal without staving it. You can't with the metal tracks without ripping the asphalt all up. Take an excavator and spin it around on an asphalt on a paved road in a hot summer day and see what
I'll
happens.
tell you a story sometime.
So I just want to be clear, taking from the capital reserve wouldn't be an ideal situation.
Well, the thing with the
We
capital...
normally want to budget for something, so I just want to be clear that we don't see you in 2 years trying to, you know what I mean?
No, and this is
I understand
gonna...
you're playing catch up almost.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that, this is something that we need.
And I have adjusted for that on the new plan, for the equipment plan. We won't need to buy equipment again for another, that'll give us 15 years to save. And the,
15?
yeah, well,
Minus the
I'm
pickup.
just, but a pickup, right, the pickup's gonna be replaced at some
But
point,
that's about it.
but what I'm saying is the capital reserve money that we're gonna use, we were gonna use this coming fall anyway, or put it in this fall to replace the six-wheeler. So instead of replacing the six-wheeler for a little bit more than what I was gonna spend, we're getting 3 pieces of equipment for ultimately, I've put some real time into this.
I
And,
trust that, and I trust that we need it. I just want to make sure it's in the budget and make sure that you understand
Right.
where we're getting that money from.
Right, yeah, no, and I do, and that's why the money was there.
And keep in mind too that were we going to replace the six-wheeler next year, we would have had to finance a portion of it anyway, so a small portion.
How long can we keep the six-wheeler going? How many years are you pushing out for the six-wheeler
Right now,
to replace?
the ones that we have are, I mean, as in anything, it's an 06 and a 99, but they're both in very good shape.
Yeah.
And before I even looked into this, I had Kevin go through the trucks, and he did go through the trucks, and they're in the 06 Peterbilt is like brand new. It hasn't been.
Yep. Looks great.
The 99, with the exception of needing a set of tires, is in very good shape. You can get easily, I don't want to step on my own toes here, but you can easily get 15 or 20 years out of both of those trucks. But the problem is going to arise that eventually, as the cycle turns, we're going to get people in there that can't drive a standard truck anymore because everybody is going away from driving standard trucks.
That's frightening.
It is frightening, but it's the way of the world. It's not how it's.
Well, then is it worth the 20,000?
What do you mean?
An automatic.
Yeah, we're going to an automatic truck.
550 is an automatic, right.
But is it
Which-
worth trading it in for 20,000? You're saying we can get 15?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's definitely worth trading for
Yeah.
$20,000.
This new truck is an automatic?
Yep.
That one's not.
It's like the existing one, Catherine.
Yeah.
The big truck is an automatic?
The 90
The
actually.
550,
The
the
90.
Ford.
The one that
The
I'm
little
trading
one.
in
Yeah.
is getting close to the
It's the
point
same
where.
thing.
Not getting 15 years out of that.
No, God, no. No, we've already got almost 30 out of it. So
Is the existing 550 diesel also?
yes, they're both diesels.
Same one, is it still the 6.7 or?
6.7, yep. Yeah, which is the better of the motors.
So it's not a power choke?
No, yeah, the 6.0, you gotta put 3 motors in there.
90,000.
No, I did my homework.
Actually, 10 years, that's 300,000, or 270,000.
I'm going to try to come tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah, I think, Joyce, are you coming down tomorrow to discuss the trash stuff, or are you busy?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to tell me when
So
would be a good
I,
time.
whenever you want to do. The guys are gone at 10, so the
Yeah,
guys
so-
leave at 10.
Like for jobs.
No, for like, no,
So
so
that's more than 10 years. So
If it's not a good day, then.
I know it's fine. We can still go look at all the work. It's not a big deal. It's just I'll show you what we do. I'll show you where we go and what we've done. When you go up and look at that job we just did on Linden Street, Linden Ave yesterday, it's
You show up at your-
I didn't show-
So they come in at 6 or 6:30?
they come in at 6 and leave at 10.
Okay. Why don't I say, Neil, you're here tomorrow, right? Okay. Why don't I just go straight from home?
That's fine.
There, so
That's fine.
8:30.
Yeah, that's fine.
And,
So, the proposal here is to take money out of the capital reserve account, doesn't that have to go before the legislative body?
not to withdraw your agents of the fund.
You are agents, yeah.
I thought we still had to request permission to remove.
You haven't, it's been described here.
I'm just, like I'm saying, I rely on you for these things. That's lovely.
And you've done it before for other equipment.
There are some things that just
Do we
completely
need a
rely on
public
Joyce.
hearing to go?
Lead me by the nose. Not many people can do that, but she's one. Good one.
So,
If Joyce says it's so, it's so.
Well, no, what's bad is I start to think.
And the reason that I brought it to right now to you guys is because in order to get the truck built before wintertime, I need to get on the ball with it. So
Any more questions? Concerns?
John to make the motion.
I did make the motion. This is unlike me. This is scary.
It's painful, I know, but I want to hear it from you.
To replace the 1990 International six-wheel dump truck plow, to replace the Caterpillar backhoe for the 2017 Ford F-550, the 2017 Yamaha excavator and the 2016 Kawasaki V6 loader as outlined in the proposal,
So on the 10-ton trailer, John?
including the trailer. Everything that's included in this proposal.
I missed that.
Second.
Any more discussion? I have a question. Hydraulic front blade.
Yes, ma'am.
Want to see a picture?
Come down and try it out.
Don't tell me.
Pat did. Come on down. Hydraulic front blade.
You did? Oh, yeah. I didn't see
It's
that.
cut down?
That thing right there.
It's got a picture of
What kind
me.
of down pressure is it?
It does.
It'll pick it right up off the ground.
It's got a piston like that big.
You can, Ashley, I'll put you right in it like I did Pat, you can try it out.
Oh, I don't know.
All right.
Well, you'll be fine. It's not gonna hurt you. You can't hurt it, I promise.
Any more discussion? Everybody understand the motion on the table? You sure you understand the motion on the table? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
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 So I will work on the financing
Squeeze it out.
piece.
Well, if you look at 10 years on the truck, you're looking at $300,000, where a new truck, 6 wheels, $200,000 and lasts us, 20 years. So hopefully, the new truck with good maintenance will last us at least 15 years.
And I think, yes, with the maintenance and with what we have in the garage right now as far as mechanic, I think we can keep the new trucks going 100%.
Yeah.
We better keep the mechanic happy.
So I'll work on the financing piece of it and continue to work with Brock on the timing and payments, things like that.
Send it, yeah. Well, the trucks, I just gotta call them and get it roll. It just takes them a while to get everything put together. And I'd like to, if I waited another month, I'd probably be into winter before they got to it.
And
so.
we will do it with a purchase order, so we'll have all that in place.
Okay, so we'll
We've done another big ticket.
something
items.
for us to sign next week.
I think so.
Yeah, we can- I can
Very
put it
possible. Yep.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
have a question for you.
Go ahead.
It's on a very different subject.
So it's one.
All right, the other day, the other couple of days when we had the downpour, I got a call from our neighbors, and it looks as though the rain comes down Maple Court, and it goes down Cedar Street, okay, towards the sidewalk side of the road,
Right.
a little bit on the left-hand side where the hydrant is. Then it passes along the first driveway and floods the driveway. And some of it goes towards the driveway, but this man could not get into his house. The yellow house on the right-hand side, the
Yeah.
first house,
Yep.
could not, I don't know if everyone can see that,
I see water.
So he couldn't get in without walking through water.
without
But he could
walking
get into
through,
his house.
walking through water. And all that water
Comes from our road.
was coming from Maple Court. It was not coming from Cedar Street.
Right.
Because above Maple Court, just above Maple Court is a drain. All the water from that one was going into the drain. This was coming down Maple Court, sheeting across and going right across the road into, I'm sorry, I don't know his last name. What's Toby's last name? Where Daniels used to live, Mrs. Daniels used to live, the gray house. Some of it was sitting right at the beginning of their driveway, but not totally into
Right.
their driveway. But massive.
The problem with that, Pat, the problem with that is when you get 2 inches of rain in 20 minutes, I don't care what you got for a drain, it ain't gonna take it.
That was my question.
There's not, if on a regular rainstorm, that does not do that.
Well, the other problem, the second problem that we have is that when the street sweeper came and it broke down on Cedar Street,
Yep.
it did not finish from Maple Court, on Cedar Street, from Maple Court down to Winter. And on the right-hand side, by the sidewalk, there's a lot of sand. Well, now that sand is in his driveway.
Well, I have a sweeper at the shop that they never came and go.
No, it
I demoed it at the
This
beginning
guy
of the, in
here,
the spring.
it looks like a
Yeah,
dirt
if it came
driveway,
and
but
got
that's
that.
all the sand from the road.
It's hooks to our multi-one. We've been using it
Yes, he does.
all over the place. So I think in light of, and I'm gonna try to work something out with him, so I say, hey, we're buying this equipment, why don't you leave that sweeper right here for us?
And if you don't bring it up?
Can you just take,
And if I don't bring it up, it's probably just gonna stay here forever, and I'm not gonna have to.
the first one wasn't as bad a storm as the second one was, and I walked the dog, that's where I walked the dog,
Yep.
so it wasn't as bad, and I watched where the water went.
And the problem is I can probably fix that, but there's not gonna be anybody on your street that's gonna be happy. Because in order to move water like that, it has to go somewhere.
But there's no sense in us moving.
For a storm that
A storm of
happens,
that size.
you're right. But to come over there, I mean, in a normal, what you need to look at is when it's just a normal
Well,
rainstorm.
the first storm was a normal rainstorm, that's what I'm trying to tell you, and it trickled down from all the way up on Maple Court. It came down. I mean, I'm sort of kind of feel bad because he got all the rain. It didn't go down on my lawn. It went all the way down Maple Court and then hung around Cedar Street, and
Right.
it went to those two houses.
I mean, on the edge of the road right there, I guess I could, I mean, I can
Why don't we have you monitor
Just take a
that
look at it.
area?
look at it and
I
see.
think we're gonna get rain at the end of the week.
The problem is if you don't get that kind of rain, you're not gonna have that kind of problem.
No, but that's what I mean, if you could monitor that through the
Right,
next few
yeah, I can,
rainstorms we have.
and try to come up with a plan that's not gonna,
See if there's a problem.
because in order to
That's a
fix
huge
that
storm.
water's gonna have to go on somebody's
That was an
yard.
absolutely huge storm. Half of my driveway went down to Route 3.
Yeah.
That's the storm,
My driveway's gone.
Yeah.
that's the storm when
So-
my neighbor's up a driveway,
Yeah.
when my neighbor gave me a whole bunch of free fill.
So, if you would monitor that.
I can do that,
Through a
absolutely.
couple of
Yep.
storms and see if there is anything we need to change
Yeah.
or if everything.
Well, and right at the end of Maple Court on that side of the street, the last section that goes down where it always washes and it's undermined right there on the side, I have plans on fixing that because that is a problem that needs to be fixed, but there's a couple of bigger problems that I've been working on ahead of time. It's not, but I will, yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
So while you're here, and I did mention to you, but I'll report to the selectmen, I did speak to the owner of Tilton Onions.
That's on our list.
And let him know that the selectmen wanted to know what type of tree, what was the plan. He talked about arborvitaes, and but he'd really like a white cedar, and I guess both of those trees grow up pretty straight.
They do grow straight and they stay tight.
That's what he said, and he
Decorate a white cedar nicely.
Christmas tree.
he would like to put curbing around it. So I suggested to him that he have that conversation with Public Works, because
I have no problem with the white cedar tree, but as far as plowing, I don't like the curbing around it.
I think that's, if anybody objects to this, I think that's a conversation the Public
That we
Works
have,
Director
right, with
should
Alan,
have, and he
yeah.
did ask to
Okay.
have that,
Absolutely.
so that,
Yeah.
Was the purpose in the curbing so that it doesn't get damaged by the plow? Is that what the purpose is?
I think it was more aesthetics to keep the,
Dogs away from it?
to keep the dirt in place.
Okay.
To also trying to provide some sort of drainage for, currently he has, I don't know if it's air conditioner, but it's some kind of HVAC moisture that
Right,
comes
yeah.
across.
But before we make a decision on this, we need to remember that we have another tree directly across from that. Those trees are gonna be,
Well, now, the tree that we're getting is a compact tree.
it is a compact tree, but you're
His
still,
tree is going straight up, and we had 2 trees there before,
okay.
and ours was not compact.
And I'm just thinking of sidewalk machine going between to do the sidewalks,
Yeah.
branches hitting it, but
The 2 trees that'll be there now will be smaller
Yes.
than what was there before.
they're both compact, like you said. I was
Um,
putting that out there for,
So, is everybody all right with the white cedar compact tree for him to get? And
I
Yeah, I
think
have
we
no
need to be
issue.
really specific on how big this tree will be, and if it does get out of hand, what are we gonna do? who's gonna prune it and who's gonna remove it.
Well, that's the thing, he's gonna have to be responsible for maintaining.
I was gonna suggest, because we're giving him permission to put a tree in the public sidewalk, that we're gonna write up some sort of document that writes out maintenance for this tree. But I do believe there has to be a clause that says, with the understanding that this tree is being placed in the public sidewalk, and if at any time it becomes, you know, a detriment, unsafe for the general public, or, you know, some of those reasons, the Board of Selectmen can determine that it needs to be removed. You know, if it's dropping branches or whatever. But does everybody,
I kinda wish we would've discussed this before we paved the sidewalk, but now that I
Well,
gotta
you
go
can-
cut. Am I gonna be responsible for cutting this out?
No.
Or is he gonna take care of all that?
no, he will do all of what is necessary to put the
Okay.
tree in there.
All right.
And that's another thing.
Yeah, no, I got
don't
no
wanna tell you work, but he's gonna be cutting a nice
square, right,
square
yeah, no.
without,
To get an excavation permit, it has to go dig safe.
Well,
without,
that dig safe is on him, not me, that's not,
without
right.
the overcuts into the existing
Into the
pavement.
yeah, absolutely not. It's gonna have to be a square cut, I'm not
Square
gonna have
cut,
a cut.
he can chisel the corners. So, do you mind having that, hooking up and having that conversation?
No, I'll
with him?
talk with him about that, and if it is the cedar, like, yeah, I don't have a problem with the cedar tree. They stay tight, they stay tall.
Cedar. So, I'll make a motion that we allow Onions to put in a white cedar in that spot
Yep.
next to the alleyway in there, and with a whole list of conditions.
Yes,
I think the gate should be, and he did volunteer to have that gate secure and locked.
yeah. Yeah, because we don't want anybody out behind it.
With the
either.
memorandum of understanding between him and us, and that he works with Public Works to get that done.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Sounds
want
good.
to add to that? Thoughts? Okay. Looking for a second.
Second.
No more discussion. So, before we call for the vote, one thing I'll add is, until we have the signed memorandum of understanding, the tree doesn't go in,
Doesn't go in
and the
again.
asphalt doesn't get cut. Does everybody agree with that? Okay?
Because I have intentions with all things going and the planets aligning and everything, of putting the other trees in next week.
Oh, very nice.
But I've got Johnny on vacation and Robert is on military his week where he has to go
Yep,
to the
training,
reserve. So
okay.
my personnel's gonna be spread thin for the next week, but
All right, so Gail, you got all that? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. So you'll get with him next week? and-
I'll talk to him.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Joyce, you'll come,
Yeah, could I just get 2 minutes, because I finally got Brock here.
No.
Because Brock and I talk every day, and we don't talk every day to the selectmen, so I just want to make sure you're aware of everything that's going on. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So the cast iron grills have been
They're
turned
done.
and cleaned, those are done on the
And they're
windows.
welded, the edges are welded back on them, so they're all above the edge of the granite.
what are we talking about?
The cast iron
The
grates that
cast
go over the window
grates
louvers.
over the
Oh,
window.
outside.
We pulled
here.
them, we pulled them this morning.
I was in Riverfront
We
Park
took
when
them
you said
down
that.
and we welded the edges on them, so there's all 3 sides so the water can't get in them. Well, I'm not saying no water can get in them, but it's a lot better than it was.
And I've been doing research off and on for a while on window covers, and what I'd like to do, because there's just so many options, took measurements today, but I'm thinking now, just from what I've looked online, they're 45 by, the maximum will be 45 by 30, right?
Yeah,
20,
the-
45 by 20,
The window openings are 48 by 20.
48 by 20.
Yes.
Okay, 48 by 20.
And that gives you an inch on each side to set it up against and room to set it
Okay.
out beyond.
So, as I find vendors that can, because we may have to have something made to order.
I can go look at Home Depot, they may already make different size ones that just are designed for it. But a basement window isn't generally 4 feet wide either,
True.
unless you've got a lot bigger house than I've got.
But anyway, so sooner than later, made that a priority so they don't fill up with water. Okay. So window covers working on. The ramp handrail stabilization is
All
not
done.
done. Well, you
The,
said you
the handrails are done, just the end of the ramp. I'm taking the cold patch. The cold patch was a temporary fix until we got the plate made for the end of the ramp.
Okay, and
Yeah.
how big is this plate going to be?
It's going to be 4 feet wide and make the transition smooth so there's no,
Okay,
that's in the process, and also the grate for the vent over here is in the process of being made right now.
okay. The grate for the drainage or for the?
For the vent, no, I got the drainage,
Okay,
I got
that.
I have the grate, the drain for the,
I have fabricate new cover for the boiler
Yeah.
intake candy cane then.
yes, I have that, that's
Okay.
in the process right now. I have the vent in my possession, not the vent, the drain in my possession for the
Gutter.
roof drain out back. I just have to put that, that's why, if you look out there, there's a space there in the concrete, in the asphalt, that I didn't have them paved because I didn't want to have to cut it out, it was already right there. Instead of wasting time trying to cut around it, it's already done, I can just dig it up and put it in.
Question now for the other tree, wherever you want it, we have to mark and then dig safe will come check.
Yes.
Now, remember we took 2 trees out on this end. Do we want to put one back there?
That's why we got 2 trees.
Yeah, I can, well,
No,
I can pull up the asphalt, the patch that's there, where the other tree came
Well, no,
from.
we can't put it back there because there's a water line.
No, the water line's over here. The tree, there's a spot where the tree came out of the ground, and then right here, from the edge of the sidewalk to the building is where they replaced the water line. But 15 or 20 feet to the right of that, looking at the building, there's another spot where a tree was removed.
Okay, all right.
That's got,
okay.
you can clearly see the different color in the asphalt.
Okay.
And that's where I was gonna put the other tree, because I got a feeling that the tree was gone because it got run over. So they just pulled it up, and I'm not, but instead of digging up a different section of the sidewalk and having black patches all over the sidewalk, let's dig up one that's already,
As long as there aren't any utilities underneath it.
I'm gonna dig, I'll dig safe it
You'll
before.
dig safe it.
And it doesn't have to, it's not like it's gonna go 9 feet in the ground.
A lot of people don't remember that Main Street planted the trees, not the Board of Selectmen of the town of Tilton. It was the Main Street. So,
And then, so when that's all done out there, I can go back to Lowe's, and right now, I think there's 12 of those skid guards, they're real easy to pull up. I'd like to put down 24, I'd like to put down one. And they're like $5 a piece.
consensus?
What is
I
it?
think if you put down more.
The skid tape so you don't slip on the
It's
ramp.
gonna hang over on the board, because they're too wide for one board, and that's why you did it across 2 boards, so that you could get the adherence to it.
If it does hang over, Pat, for some reason, and that's what you guys decide, you can cut in between the grooves and fold it under so it doesn't do that. You see what I'm saying? If it overlaps the 2, if you ran a blade down the center of it and just made a slice, you can wrap it and adhere it back to the bottom side of that. So if that turns into a problem with it overlapping, we can
Yeah,
fix
I'm
that. That's
thinking
not,
shoveling it.
that's minor, we can fix that.
So I don't want you to think
It does
that
make
the
it a pain
application's
it's gonna
replaced.
make it a pain for shoveling, for sure. But, I mean, you gotta,
Well, they've
safety
held up
over a
pretty
little bit of
well.
work is,
They've held up well.
I look very well.
right, they do hold up good, and like I said, a little bit of work for to have that much added safety isn't.
Does anybody have any objections to replacing the skids? in this ramp? Okay.
And then the last thing is, now, have you spoken with Alan about when he's gonna be doing
I
his?
have not.
Okay, because that's,
I will, I'll do that at the same time as I talk to them about the tree.
and then,
I have a couple of projects that I know, I can do that one out there anytime, that's not a big deal. But I just went today and notified all the residents on Grant Street, which I thought they were gonna throw me a party that I'm gonna be up there ditching the road. And, and they were ecstatic, so that's, my next project is ditching that up there and getting that taken care of. You can't even walk through there, it's up over my waist.
Isn't Grant Street the one that's got the broken, culvert that we were gonna replace? Isn't the bottom part we replaced, but then there's like 14 feet of it that's crushed?
There's a culvert up, somebody dug that up and replaced a section of a culvert up there.
Instead of doing.
But I don't think it was
Instead of doing the
done.
whole culvert, we only did a partial
Yeah,
culvert. So I am,
Correct.
are we gonna try to?
that's not in the cards right now. I'm trying to keep the water off the road right now.
Okay.
Once I get that part, then I can go through and say, okay, this catch basin needs to be replaced.
So
this.
when you ditch that, is there a catch basin down on the bottom of Route 3?
Yes, there is. That hasn't seen water in years.
Okay.
It's grown. If you walked up there, the grass around it is that high, and it's a big mound that goes all the way around. It hasn't
So
seen
this-
water in quite some time.
It's not gonna access that detention pond at all, is it?
No, it will after I'm done. It's going to run into that catch basin, and then I believe that catch basin drains into that detention pond.
I don't think so. I think all that.
Or it all ties. Then it ties down at the bottom and goes across the road.
It goes, yeah, well.
Which I wasn't involved in that, so I don't exactly know where the.
The Conover, the DOT and Conover one, I'm pretty sure it just goes to the detention.
When I do a
Cuts
road like
across
that
the
now, from now
Ts.
on, when I do
I'm
something
trying-
like that, I'm gonna have a map of saying, okay, the culvert goes here. I'm gonna record all that, so when somebody else comes, they can open it up and say, okay, there's a culvert here, this runs here, this all goes there.
I don't believe the solution to pollution is dilution. So
Yeah.
I don't think all culverts and drains should go to the river.
I don't know. I'll give you
I was hoping
that.
there was a way to avoid it.
It's the damage is already done. You know what I mean? It's not you're not going to reinvent the wheel for one road. The pipes are already run there if that's where they are. You know what I mean? The catch basin for the state, I'm sure, runs right across the road and goes into the river.
Oh, I know it does.
And that's
We saw
what
that
everything
too.
else is tied into.
Failure. We all saw the plume and the failure took
Right.
place.
The plans for those culverts, where it goes in, Darius got a copy of
He
those.
does have a
yeah.
copy of it, okay.
And that detention pond, they did dig that ditch, the swale, to go up Grant Street, to help drain all that was supposed to be sheeting into the woods and into that wetland. And that's a detention pond that seeps back into the ground and it fills up too much.
Which is
then
the
it
process of
overflows
a
out.
detention.
If-
Well, that's that, and you know that you say detention pond, but that sounds strangely to me like a French drain.
Pretty much is.
The water goes in and it drains out the bottom. That's
Does anybody have any more questions for the Public Works Director? Oh, I have one. How is our employee that needs to get his CDL by, what's the date?
he's going tomorrow for his written test,
Alright.
and he's not going to have any trouble with it, with the written end of it. We got the driving end's still a little green. We got some work to do on the driving end of it, but once he gets the written
know
part
just-
done, I can put him in that truck all the time. I'll
I
have
know,
him.
just the truck, he should be,
I know just the truck. You're absolutely right. You're right. But there and again, the truck that he has to drive after he's done is completely different.
well,
The Peterbilt is an 8LL.
oh,
Which means it's 16 speeds. It's 8 speeds altogether. So you gotta the International is a 5-speed with a high and low rear end, which is
well, that's easy.
completely different. It's a completely different animal.
Alright, well, at least he can.
But yes,
wear
well,
out that clutch.
he can at least get the feel of driving it on the road, which I don't think he's going to have a problem with.
Alright, we good?
Good,
Thank you, Brock.
Thank you.
thanks.
Merry Christmas,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
tree and all.
Yeah, it came with the tree.
Thank you.
Hey,
I want to see a bow
Take
on
care.
it. Both of them.
You already got your book.
Send me the
I'll send you
picture.
video.
Send the picture.
I will.
Thank you.
Mr. Shaley, would you please come up and join
Come on
us?
down.
Come on down. What's behind door number 3? Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry Shaley. I own property on Route 3, as everybody knows, and I think I want to try and make a presentation for some of the board members that don't know what's happened in the past and so forth. I bought the property across the street many years ago.
can you just say the address?
Excuse me?
I don't know. What's the
Oh,
address?
it's the property that's across the street from the golf course.
Ardmore Country Club.
Right across the street from the golf country club. I bought it there was a subdivision that was put in place. The subdivision created 3 lots on Route 3 and created 1 lot on the waterfront. Over the years, I donated the land on the water to the town. That was, I don't remember when. And that to me was the end of it. But what took place is I am now trying to sell a lot, which is lot A, I believe, in the system. I'm trying to sell that. And in the title search, they found that part of my obligation, or the owner's obligation, was to create an easement so that that land in the back would not be landlocked. So with that, I talked to some of the people in the town and everything, and basically what I have done is I have done some research, and I have gone through my everything, and really I think it's my obligation to create the easement. I don't believe the town has to accept or not accept. I believe it's a courtesy of showing where it is, and and so forth. And that's what I'm here to do tonight, is to put the deed, the easement on record, so that you people have an easement. So basically, that's what it all breaks down to. I have a copy of what it's going to be. It's going to be registered. I have a little plot plan of where the easement's going to go on the 3rd parcel, not the 2nd parcel, the 3rd parcel.
13. Lot 13.
Well, actually, it's weird. There's different numbers that go with it, but it's supposedly it was, yeah, it is 13. But
The furthest one to the west.
It was 12, 12A, and 12B. Now it's called 13. I don't know where it changed along the line, but so basically that's why I'm here. I don't think it's a big deal, but I think out of courtesy that of our interaction as far as me donating the land, and now that it's landlocked, it's my obligation to present this to you so that you will have it, and I can record it, and next week the man will buy my property across the street that I have been trying to sell for many years.
So, this has 12A that is circled here in red. I believe it's actually owned by myself and my brother. Because 12 is ours too, but I think 12A is...
I can't hear you.
12A, this parcel here is the parcel that the Dodge family got from you.
Right.
We traded that year.
Yeah.
So it's 13 and 12B. The
Correct.
2 lots we're talking about.
Right.
Do you do everything?
That's why I circled.
I have copies of what I brought copies for everybody.
Okay.
They all
Not
understand.
this one. Oh, you just...
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yep. And the outline that I...
So you're talking about 1 and 2. 3 is owned by the Dodge family now. Well, John and myself.
And I just want to follow up. What I have done is I have put this easement in a position whereas, which I was the recipient of a bad deal, but I gave an easement to Freedom Honda many years ago. It was going to go across the street.
Yeah.
And so basically, this particular drawing was a conceptual that was done for Freedom Honda. This particular piece of property right here is the one where the easement would go, which is lot 13.
13.
Freedom Honda was going on the property that Al Mitchell owns. There is a registered right-of-way that comes in from the highway, cuts across the front of my property, and goes down to where Freedom Honda was supposed to go. The mistake I made was that the man was supposed to build Freedom Honda, which I thought was going to compliment me. Well, anyway, he had complications. He got the easement. I never seen Freedom Honda. The facts is, but the deed was recorded. So what I have done is basically taken that entranceway from the highway And basically, if you look at the diagram, that dark black line,
Yeah,
Yeah.
this.
what I have done is taken that easement and run it right down the property line, so that you can get to the landlocked land in the back.
Good. Is this recorded?
No, they would not, they don't, the easement is recorded, but the conceptual, they don't allow conceptuals to be recorded. For some reason, trust me, I've been 2 weeks on this, trying to find out all the.
So this isn't the same thing here that's showing on the original
Yes, it
Turtle
is.
plan?
Yes, see it right up here, it says proposed driveway?
Proposed driveway, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
so
that's
that's that, okay.
Yeah,
So it is shown somewhere on
Right.
a recorded deed? Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Now, I think that,
This goes right into the piece of property that you donated years ago.
right,
And that's,
Other land,
oh, that's down here.
yes, across the
and
trail.
actually, you know, after I looked at this, it really turns out to be the best lot for it to go over, because if you look at the land that was donated, the other 2 lots, actually, the main part of the property that could be utilized, all these other lots have to cross wetlands. This particular one doesn't have to cross wetlands. It only has to cross the railroad tracks. That's the town's obligation, to get the railroad tracks, you know.
Except where this is ending is at the wetlands,
Well, it's ending at the end of the property.
but it's going through the wetlands to get
Well,
there.
this is my rendering.
Which I appreciate.
The-
I mean, it's kind
shows
of
on the
awkward,
edge
you
of
know,
it.
and we're grateful, I think, the donation of the land, and I think this is a
Yeah.
great,
I'm just trying to,
Evolution.
in the deed, which I also have, did I get, oh,
There are restrictions for
So
wetlands?
I guess what Catherine is saying, that the way you drew it here is actually, you kind of drew it in the wetlands on the bottom where the railroad track is, so if you just, yeah, I
I'm
know,
not going to art school.
I know.
Is there a definition, is it defined in the
If you
Yeah,
did-
well, it's defined that it's off the property line, it's 15 feet wide. Your obligation is to, you know, basically, it allows you to grade it, to do what you have to do to have an easement.
There's one thing, that we have a setback from wetlands, so if we're right on the wetlands, we'd have to be 20 feet from the edge of the wetlands.
Well,
Then it would be 50.
again, that's, you know,
So, or it would be completely useless to the town for...
no, I
right-of-way.
understand that,
Yeah.
but the point being is that you have it where you can do what you have to do to get down this side of the property without infringing on anything. I don't think I would put you in the wetlands, you know, as far as an easement goes.
Well, if we worded so that it followed the contour of the wetland, it'd be-
Excuse me?
we would have to have an easement that followed the contour of the wetlands as opposed to the border of the property in order to be able to use
Well, I
it.
think that maybe, whatever clarifications you want, I don't mind.
Would it be easier just to put it on the western edge of that property?
No, because if it ever comes to play where Al Mitchell and myself get to develop the other parcel, this easement would run right through that development.
Oh, I see what you're saying, the combination of, I see, okay.
That would split it, and that would...
I remember you talking
Be
about
useless
that.
to you.
but I-
Let me put it like this, I don't care if any revisions you want to make, it's fine. I think the easement is basically standard that, you know, I'm not trying to hide anything.
No.
I'm just trying to,
It's a pretty standard,
Yeah.
let
Oh,
John
sorry.
see.
I brought enough copies for everybody. Anybody else? Well, no.
what made you donate the land? What made you donate the land? Couldn't use it.
Actually, yes. Well, it was kind of twofold. At that time, the town talks about actually doing something for a beach. Way back, I was going to build a hotel. The finances really never came to play, and the biggest obstacle of all that property along that section is there's no town water. Town water restricts you from having anything like a medical building, anything that needs public water. They're just not going to allow it.
A few hundred yards up from where everything is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no.
And actually, it's a shame. Huh?
Well, yeah, it is a little further.
It's like
Quarter
half
of
a mile.
Yeah. And it's a shame because some of that property, over the years, the property probably could have been sold for a lot more than what I'm getting for it today. But of course, they changed the zoning way back. And I can have an airport, I can have a marina, but I can't have a veterinary service. That's the truth.
I remember that, but
Remember
every
that?
time
I mean,
it's said out
so-
loud to me, it just makes you go,
And there was a big uproar about dealerships, car dealerships, and oil, and this and that, and I don't know. So anyway, that's the history of the property.
So, quick question, Catherine. So, reading this.
Yep.
Okay, so you're saying the location, so we'll just work off this one.
Right.
Okay, even though the property line, okay. It's gonna start a 15-foot wide entrance.
Right.
Beginning at 134.01 feet.
Right.
And ending 149.01 feet southwest of the northeast corner.
That's down here.
This is the northeast corner.
Right.
So it's beginning down here.
Well, I don't know, is it backwards?
Yeah, possibly, because then it says, and then this easement, so it's stating a beginning and ending point, so,
well, the beginning point would be up at Route 3, I think.
and this would be the ending point down
Okay.
here, okay. And it's gonna be 15 feet wide, okay, so it could be,
Well, let me phrase
So
it this
Because it
way.
ends at the southeasterly property boundary.
yeah, so this is the southeast.
But the
corner.
language in this does have it running along the boundary line, which, as John would said, wouldn't do us any good because that puts it in the wetlands.
Well, the only thing that we have to put in there would run down that side,
20
provide
yeah, along the
with a
wetland.
20-foot buffer away from the wetland.
Just follow the
That's the
contour
only
of the
thing that,
wetland.
and that's the only thing that I will, we make a note of that. I will address that with the attorney tomorrow. And, basically,
Then it's clear.
Probably, I think Dari or Chuck can help with,
excuse me?
Chuck, Mitchell or Dari could help with, the wetland laws and just to make sure
the
that
biggest thing,
wording of it
I'm
so
going to
get
tell
done
you,
quick.
I will tell you, when we talk about these wetlands down there, the way I would try to describe it to you is that this mapping is not accurate. So really, I don't know where it really starts and stops without us. I have not had that side done as far as but I know it's not even anywhere near this. Most of the wetlands were on the other parcel. But what I'm saying is that I will make a stipulation in there that the easement will run along the boundary line to include a 20-foot setback from the wetlands, wherever they may be.
Then
That
everything's
sounds,
clear.
yeah.
Right.
I think that wording would work
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, no, I don't have a
That would be
problem.
Then,
I didn't-
eventually, if there were no wetlands, or you owned the other lot, and they mitigated it, got rid of the wetlands and moved them over to a different place, there's mitigation allowed, that would allow the easement to slide over. So that, by doing exactly what you said, 20-foot buffer from the wetlands.
As far as I'm concerned, before I leave here, if you want to put it in the verbiage, I'll add it. I'm trying to expedite this.
Yeah, we'll get done, I
I'm
understand.
trying to expedite it. It's been 25 years owning that, 20-something years owning that property.
I think probably the easiest way would be just if Joyce could have a conversation with Dari in the morning.
But he's not in.
Oh, well, that isn't gonna work. But I think the language you've been saying is gonna work with the 20, what you just stated is
Right,
fine.
instead of-
Along the boundary line, including a
Right.
20-foot buffer from the wetlands.
Just include
That's
a
it.
20-foot buffer.
I will.
That's it. I think
And
that's.
and I'll
you got it.
record it, and I'll give you a
Video.
copy.
Yep.
I mean,
And
if-
then
you
that
know,
way
if
we-
you, if you want me to come back, I'll come back, but I'd hope you don't, I
No, I
don't.
think that's fine.
Jerry would like
This
to.
guy is very anxious to start building that My Box place.
Jerry, as much as I enjoy seeing you,
Huh?
I want you to expedite it. I said, as much as I enjoy seeing you, you don't need to come back.
I thank you again. I hope I presented it properly, and, try to- I didn't even know about it. That's the sad part, until the lawyer. Oh, God, you should have seen what I
Last
went through
minute.
with this other easement. I mean, that's the one, he tried to say it ran over the old, he says, well, how do I know it doesn't run over all the other lots? I wanted to scream with this guy. Anyway, you want to keep it, or you want, Joyce, what I'd like you to do is, let's put some verbiage, just write it in there where, and I'll have Sean do that, tomorrow, and I will record it, and I will give it back to you. I'll give you a copy, so it says that there'll be,
It must be outside of
20-foot setback.
the 20-foot wetland.
Setback.
that's fine.
And he can figure out if it should go after this sentence or the end of that
I
sentence.
would put it right at the end of the paragraph that this easement lies
Yeah.
20 foot outside.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jerry.
That was
Good luck
easy.
on the sale.
Oh, well, yeah. It's good as sure. Thank you all. Can I steal a
you.
piece of candy?
Absolutely.
Please, take the bowl.
Night, Jerry.
Keep it away.
Good night.
Back.
So, Joyce.
My turn?
Yes.
Screaming. Screaming
That
along.
was the plan. That was the plan. Tim did a nice job on this proposed schedule for budget. Jane, do you want a copy of this? I have two. Whoop, whoop.
Is she on the mail list too?
I don't know. Oh, Joyce, before you get started, in case I forget again, would you just confer with Johanna that she communicate with you or Gail or somebody to let us know when the meetings are with the outside agencies? And of course, she'll have to go to the budget committee for that. I don't think it'd be a problem, but just...
Yeah, she updates it because Gail makes us our books.
Well, it seems to me there was a problem of getting those communications, so just make sure everything works smoothly.
Last week we met with, I think we can't hear you, George. I think we can hold on. Discuss this without having to go into non-public session because I won't use any names. Okay. You met with an individual and came up with a payment plan. She did provide the necessary documentation. I met with her the following Friday. Now I just have to find what I printed out to make sure that we have a proper payment plan. I only made 2 copies, you can share them. To have the balance paid off before the July tax bill would be, July 2018 tax bill would be due. The only thing that I'm unclear is, because she said that she's going to try to put extra money down each month over and above what she's agreed to, and I said, that's great. So I really have no way of calculating what the accrued interest would be each time she makes a payment. But
You based it on what we agreed?
Yes.
The minimum?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
So hopefully she'll have more paid down. And this is I have 2 copies. This is a copy. This is the original. At the time, we made the, I'm going to send them both ways, made the agreement. I
Two
had
copies for us to sign?
They're 2 originals to
Can I
sign.
just stop you for a
Yes.
second? On one of them, you have 1/31/2018, 2/15/2017, 2/15/2018.
Well, then
Let's
that's
start
a
with
mistake. It has to be 18. I can reprint this.
Okay. Well, if you're calculating down that there's an extra payment there,
Oh, there's an extra one. I see.
see what you're saying?
Okay, good. Well, this is to her favor.
Okay.
Okay, good. Yep, can be redone. Good eye.
New sewer door?
Oh, no, that's not gonna work to her favor. Oh, no, it will, because that next one should be 228. Right. 228.18. So it stays the same. I just have to fix those dates. And the only other thing I did is I rounded off the 11 cents. That's gonna change each time she does it. And I'll have Lauren review her application when she's here in September. It wouldn't, if she's eligible, she wouldn't be eligible until 2018. Okay. So I worked it out with Gary Goodrow. I'm now moving to the police station site investigation work, that the town will contract directly with JTC, John Turner Consulting. So I asked him to prepare an amendment for his contract, removing all references to that and that expense. And then this is the JTC contract. I also asked Gary to make sure to review this, that this was his understanding of exactly what he needs to prepare his schematics. And he emailed me back and he said yes. It says, thanks for the update. The scope of work JTC has outlined appears to be adequate for what we discussed previously. And that, and then he agreed to amend his contract to remove all the geotech scope work from it, since the town is proceeding directly with JTC. The only thing I would want to bring to your attention is that JTC's, because theirs is more clearly defined than before, it was just an estimate, that JTC's is $250 more.
It's $250 more? Because they're contracting with us directly?
Well, because they were able to further refine the scope of exactly what they're doing.
Oh. So
Whereas
it
this,
was more-
that he had put in
So what you're
his,
saying is this more work?
yes, he had put in 6,500, which is what the estimate was that he had received from before.
Are we gonna form a committee anytime soon? It's,
So there's,
Sure.
August.
Two selectmen are doing
Documents to
really
sign.
well right now.
That's not what was suggested at town meeting, though.
Selectmen are doing really well. Does anybody object to the selectmen continuing for a little bit until we get some of these things settled?
I'd like to establish what we're trying to get settled first, and at what point we would switch over.
Picking a site, that's what we've been talking about.
The other thing, Rachel, who's the consulting engineer for the drilling, she's arranged for Thursday, August 17th. that's the earliest availability for the drillers. I'll confirm with her. She's saying right now, most likely they'd be on site at 8 AM.
So they're gonna drill both sites and then they're
In
gonna
one day.
pick, and they're gonna pick which one's the better site.
Well, they're gonna
They're
send
gonna
all
give
the
us the
data.
information. We'll have to.
So how soon are we gonna get the data?
I'll tell you once I get.
This is just one signature on this GTC.
Right, so, yeah, I'll
Just sign it, and we'll all sign.
Sign it anywhere?
Yeah, sign it. Go ahead and sign on the one line, and we'll all sign it in this bit.
Joyce?
there should be, yeah, 2 documents.
I think that we should at least start looking at some names on the committee, because there's more people that want to be on the committee than that we have room for. And I think that we should start dwindling names down, and then
We
by
do
that
have-
time you'll have your answers to what you want.
Joyce, do you have that list of names?
Yes, I have it written in my town
It's
report.
like 13 or something.
Oh, no, I want to say at the most 7. I mean, unless there are other names that came to you, these were the ones I received at town meeting, and I wrote them down.
Can we get those, can we get the names
Yep.
to Joyce? And then maybe next week?
Give me those names too. See what's going on.
Okay.
Did it
All right, let me
specify
just
how
get
many-
this in the right thing.
Did it specify how many people would be on the committee?
We don't
Just
really
go
know.
with those?
No,
and-
that's,
If there was 7, that would be an ideal committee.
Yeah.
that's up to the selectmen to decide if this committee is, working for the Board of Selectmen.
Get names.
So get that thought and what you think might be a good working number.
Oh, and I'm sorry, on the back page, they want this to be initial at the bottom. I forgot to mark that. So when it comes back around
I
again.
think we're getting, once we pick the property, so we're still talking about the property, but once we pick a property, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I think a committee is gonna have more time to get that work done than the Board of Selectmen, quite frankly. Unless, does anybody disagree? Or-
Nope, I'm fine with that.
Once you pick that property and start, I mean, they're gonna have to, they wanna increase the size of the,
I just want to show you, there's one other place that you have to sign.
yeah, I saw that.
On the very back page of the JTC, the bottom, to initial.
Oh, initials. I don't want to confuse them, so if you put your initials first.
That page? Ah, there it is.
Okay. Yeah, they need another, they want to have room for 3 cars instead of 2. There's a lot of things that are going to be tweaked. The blueprint itself will have to be tweaked for this property. A lot of work for a committee to do.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Still on that, when you have the list of people, does the board want to see that list, so when we come next week, you can,
Well, yeah, I don't want to limit it to 7 if there's,
well,
you know,
if
6
we,
other people that want to be on it.
if we have a list of people and it's, 13,
but-
14 people, and if we look at it beforehand, we can come together and already have thoughts about it. It'll save time at the next meeting, I think.
Who signed on the JTCs?
Yeah, some people may even drop out.
Oops. I signed on the JTC side. Down there.
Well, when I go,
Maybe looking for something. That's what I do.
I'll email that to you before I leave tonight. The Winnipesaukee River Trail, their annual fundraiser and auction for Taste of the Trail is October 11th from 5 to 8. This year it's going to be in Northfield at the Highland Mountain Bike Park. There's two things that they're requesting, that you allow me to sell tickets from here. And the second thing is permission to put their sign up on the railing by the island and also on the railing before you get to Riverfront Place.
Okay, if we form the committee first.
Oh, you had to put a condition on it, didn't you?
Well, been asking for that
I
committee
know.
for how many years?
Yeah.
And that money is unavailable to us that they're raising unless we have the committee.
Oh, no, you have the money.
No. If you read the document,
Yeah.
it's, the committee needs to be formed.
To spend
The money is there,
Yes.
but in order for us to spend any to
Okay.
repair, and it's supposed to be up to the selectmen,
Okay,
with the committee letting us know,
okay.
the committee's gonna be formed.
Okay, but this is fundraising for all three towns.
Okay, but still, when are they gonna, I mean, hello, how many years has it been? No committee?
We're gonna fundraise till the end of forever, but we're never gonna spend any of it.
We're never gonna spend any of it.
Well, no, that's what they done, well, like with the repairing the fence, they're using their own fundraising money to do that. They're not dipping into the town's amount.
Well, what if the town needs to fix something? I'm just saying,
Well, I know you have
like,
10,000
when I
there.
sign an agreement, a contract,
Mhm.
I expect all parts of the contract to be fulfilled and not 10 years later.
Oh, I don't get to pick which conditions I comply with?
How about if we
formed the
get the
committee.
police station committee started, then this one, you'll go ahead and
No.
let them put the sign up. No, I hear you.
Let them
I
put the
hear you.
sign up,
I hear
but, you hear me?
you. I hear you.
Let's-
Loud and clear.
Yes,
Can we
you can
put
put the
that-
sign up, and yes, you can sell tickets, but yes, you need to get the
Can
committee
you-
established.
Can you put that on the list? And I'm still waiting for
Sure.
my signed contract. Does everybody agree with adding that to the list of things to do
Yes.
and expediting it? Thank you,
Put
Joyce.
that in bold, Gail, remind
Does
me.
anybody have any concerns about putting up the signs and having Joyce sell those tickets? I haven't noticed that it's interfered with anything that gets done here.
Nope. Okay, I already gave you the parts that Brock is involved with on town hall things. I would like permission to put out an RFP for electricians to do emergency lighting. You were here that day when I had the tri-state fire. They're the people that inspect all of our lights and everything, and I asked him to prepare a scope of work, scope of service on what we need to replace and where, and this is including adding some combo units, at least one combo unit downstairs, and we want something to put up in here, because if you're ever gone and there's people meeting in there at night and something happened.
You talking about outside?
What,
What are you talking?
Oh, inside. These are our emergency lights.
See over there, the exit sign?
The exit signs, we're gonna switch all to LED.
Power the lights go on.
So I have a scope of work from him. I want to run it by Tim Joubert. He's been on vacation, and he offered to take a look at it. So as soon as I do that, because it's very specific about what units, what type of unit we want, but not who manufactures the unit. And I figured an electrician who's installing, because they install these things, they would know what would be good.
I just want to make sure that we don't get a $200 unit for something that is UL approved to install in commercial places that you can pick up for $40. So I don't want to make too big of this. I don't know if that's something that we could purchase and our regular electrician could just install for us.
I don't want the responsibility for purchasing a unit that I really don't know if it's the best.
But aren't we gonna have our normal electrician bid on this?
Yes.
So we're replacing
gonna work
the
it.
exit sign?
That's why I had
and
someone
I'll tell you right now.
who's not bidding on it.
And is that by
We're not
law?
come up
We
with
need to go to
$200 a unit for something that you caught, the UL approved. Which is
Well, let's use the
$40.
ones we have until
Well,
they-
let me go the next step and have Tim from the fire department review it, because the estimate I got for the number of units that we're replacing is, this isn't all the electrical work. Because this company can't install them because they aren't licensed electricians.
What company?
Tri-State. They have the
So
state
Tri-State
contract.
is telling us what we have to pay.
I wanted, yes, what locations, where I could have combo units, where would be the most economical way to have exit signs, and what I would need from up the stairs, and what we would need to put downstairs.
So,
Is this by law, Joyce, that we have?
I don't understand, yeah, I don't understand why we're replacing them when they work.
saving
Because we're
electricity.
going to LEDs, because the batteries are very, very expensive.
How often
Like
are we
right now-
replacing them?
Pardon me?
How often are we replacing them?
I could need to replace some now.
So how often?
I just did it, who was here back then?
Don't
2
we do it-
years? 2 years? 3 years?
Every 3 years?
Yeah.
I have some, where the problem arose that the batteries need to be replaced in these lights. Why aren't we just going and saying, instead of replacing the batteries, we're going to put the LED ones that have different type of battery?
Replace
Yes.
one
Why
at a time?
are we redesigning the whole,
I'm not,
that's
Or-
what
Well,
worries.
what Joyce said was she was gonna have Tim, Deputy Chief Tim Jubeck from the fire district, look at that proposal to see what we really
or
need.
here, for example, I'll just start with the lobby light downstairs. If you know that on the wall, there's the combo light, okay, two lamps, and then there's an exit sign. He said the best thing to do, and it's not LED, neither of them are LED, to replace that with one unit. Take both of those out and take an LED combination emergency light exit sign and install it in that other plate, okay? They can't do that because they're not electricians. They test equipment. They sell fire extinguishers.
So as we need to
But-
replace, can we replace one at a time as we need to replace batteries?
Did
Because if
this-
you just replace the batteries,
Not
we
if
should
you're
have,
using an electrician to do it.
We
you
should
gotta
have
pay
two
through
or-
the
Yeah, you're
fee.
gonna pay, yeah,
Yeah.
don't just do it all at once. No, I had asked quite some time ago to have Josh give me an estimate to do that.
An estimate doesn't cost anything.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's all
this,
you're asking for,
yeah, this
correct?
came for
You're
all
not
the
asking
things.
to go forward with the project, you're just asking to go out and get some free estimates.
Yes, right, but I wanna see is what they think that we need here.
Okay.
To have the fire department take a look at it, and then
Exactly.
put it out to bid. And the way it
That's-
would go would be, we want on the first floor meeting room, we want to replace the emergency light that's in the first floor meeting room with a new LED emergency light. Because you need an electrician to do that. On the first floor, door to the second floor, Tri-State said that it's an exit sign, we need a new LED exit sign there. Second floor sewer commission area, two LED combination emergency light exit signs. Maybe Jim will say, no, maybe just one.
There's two lights for it.
Because you can see that if, say we lost power, and we no longer have the light, the hallway light, the only thing that would show people
But
that's
see,
right there,
he's
you're not
saying
gonna be able to see
exact-
around the corner.
He's saying put exactly what it is, that's a two fixture light. That's what we have there.
But it doesn't light up, once you go around the corner, you're back going down in the dark hallway.
so we need to add a light. Not-
Two fixture ones.
So we
That's
need
what
to
he's saying.
replace that with the same thing and add
Right.
one.
Downstairs.
I guess we could probably just go ahead and get the bids and take a look where we're at. I don't wanna-
How much are the batteries?
Oh, I'd have to look, I'd wanna say $40, does that sound about right?
For each thing when you have to replace it every couple of years?
I think the,
Catherine, I think Peter wants to say something.
Oh, Peter, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can we get from Tri-State a list of equipment so that when you send out your RFP, everyone's bidding the same. So LED light exit sign model such and such manufactured by or equivalent, and
I
so we
think that's
start
what
with
you don't-
something
you
level.
don't want
Yeah,
that.
here's the deal with these lights. They're seal beam lights, and the seal beam lights use a lot of power. The batteries on them are a wet cell, a sealed wet cell, like you have in your car. And what happens is when they turn on, they last shorter and shorter each year with their life. So they'll last probably 10 minutes and go out, and eventually they'll just be on for like 2 minutes and go out. Now, all the lights are all LED, and it's got like a lithium battery in it. And once the power goes out, that stays fully bright, fully lit for, it'll stay on 3-4 days, and it will last 10 years. So, and those are all between $35 and $60 for exactly what we got there. To
Okay.
replace that fixture there, or to get that working, it would be $40 to $50 for the bulb light, for the battery, plus an electrician to put it in. So it's not worth it to go and put something in that's not gonna work that great.
Model
And
specific.
we're gonna have to do it again in a little while. So, but I didn't want to limit to the things, because what we're doing is we have a light, an exit light with 2 LED bulbs that we're looking for, and has to be UL approved, and all the fire approved. If somebody wants to bid a cheaper model that meets the specifications of 2 lights, the exit sign, and it's UL approved, and that, it doesn't matter what they use, because Tri-State might say, we want to use these that are $200 a piece,
Right.
and the electrician might say, hey, we can get the same ones for $30, $40, $50 a piece, so I didn't want to limit that.
Well, that's why you say or equivalent.
I've
If
got,
the contractor proves to you, then I'm good with it.
I've got a website, I pulled it up on the computer, and they're anywhere from $29 to $100. And the $100 one it says hardwired, but they're both dual lights with an exit sign.
These lights.
So,
I just.
but the estimates are free. You can get estimates.
Right.
You're gonna call.
Well, and I know the locations, the recommended locations, and Tim may,
And you're gonna have Tim
Big
look at
ones.
them
yep,
Great.
and add his input.
okay.
Thank you, Jerry.
So, and the reason I did that is because I would like to get that in on this year's budget. I just did a real quick recap of what we spent so far. I added a few other things that I'm getting prices on. And it looks like I gave away my copy. No, I got it. Mine has the red on it. All right.
Somebody else?
Bryant Lawrence.
Oh,
Term is Terminex. So if you go down, so of the renovations that we've completed so far, you'll see where Stonehenge has been paid, Belanger's been paid, Ferguson's been paid. I'm still waiting for an invoice for the ramp. J.P. Carter's original estimate that he'd given us for the wiring up here was $1,600. I figure we have 5 more months of Terminex bills, and then I included another $400 for just miscellaneous, something should break and I need to run to Lowe's or Home Depot or Bryant Lawrence. So the window replacement, I sent a request to, this is the basement window that's cracked, that one pane there, to find out what it would cost to get that cracked pane replaced. And I just threw in $500 because I have no idea how much that would cost. The window well covers, we'd need 3 of them, and we'll have to throw in $500. Boiler service, we always have the boiler looked at before we start our heating season, and what I'd like to do is put it out for an RFP. We've been using B&M.
then you want to switch?
Well, I think,
Usually when you have an old system like this, you want somebody that's acquainted with the system, because when you pull in somebody new, it's gonna cost you a lot of money for them to get up to snuff, and they're gonna make some guesses that are probably gonna be wrong.
Okay, well,
Are you uncomfortable with the service we're getting?
well, I just felt that last winter he was here how many times? That's all.
Because of the old system, or even because of the service?
Well, that's
That I
careful.
don't know, because he said that the reason that the way for that heat to click on is that because it runs off this thermostat, that you need to leave the doors open, I guess. You can leave the doors open so you get the airflow, so that air's coming in, so that's gonna click that on, and then people are gonna,
So what you're telling us, this is all one zone upstairs?
all one zone
And
upstairs.
because, that thermostat can tell that this is colder than this, well, that just makes sense.
Well, and I'm thinking too, because now you're going to have so many more people working up here, I want to make sure that there's going to be proper heating.
I'll be happy, I like to be colder than most.
Sorry.
So be it.
But you're right, so the solution would be is to open the window and open the doors. That would help. But
We're
even
just getting a
last,
second opinion.
even last year, it didn't get uncomfortably cold up there. It was cooler, but not uncomfortably cold, even with that door to the roof. You ever stood by it when the wind blows?
See, this is the end of the loop, I guess.
You get all the leftover heat.
Yeah.
John,
Um,
No, I just think it's a good idea because sometimes people, there's other people that might have another idea that could be better too.
I would make sure that one of the requirements to bidding on it is to come and look at the system, unless you've got some real good specifications on that system. Is it a boiler, or is it steam or hot water?
It's hot water.
That's not a boiler, right?
It's
Heater?
forced, it
It's boiler.
heats the water
Is it a boiler for forced hot water?
for forced hot water. And it's old. Everything's tagged down there. All the gate valves and everything has a tag on it saying what zone it is. The other thing is I'm having Mango come in. I don't have a price yet, but it's been 3 years since at least 3 years since we've tested all of our alarms, our fire alarm and our detectors. What they do is they go in, they clean them, they test the alarms, they'll test our panic alarms, take care of that. So,
Good idea.
and I want to get another. That's not a detector, I don't believe. That's just an alarm. Is that a hardwired detector?
You're talking about that
There's a different alarm
smoke
and a
detector?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
It almost looks like
We
it's
should-
battery operated.
It does,
I
doesn't
think it is, yeah.
Doesn't look like a hardwired. And
You
I
don't
would
need,
think
you don't
that.
need a hardwired, but I would think.
Well, we got a place where you can plug one in.
Oh.
You could put a hardwire in there.
And have one up in there, but we'll see what he says. We can just put a smoke alarm up there. We don't need a detector.
Yeah, and he'll suggest CO2 as well. There are, I've heard him recommend this all over the place. In fact, I think I'm gonna do this to my house. They have one. They have them that are radio. I don't know the technology terms, so don't laugh. But they talk to each other through the air.
The ones that are
Wireless,
wired?
Wireless.
Well, yeah, oh, is that what it's
They
called?
don't use
Just
a
simply
string tied between
Well, that's
real tight.
wireless, it's battery, but these actually, so if I say this one up there and it goes off, all the others in the building will go off. If that's a battery one, it's only gonna signal up here, so no one downstairs would know there was a fire. The same thing in the basement.
Right.
You know, if we have one sitting down there and it's not hardwired to everything else, we'd just be sitting here until.
Right,
the smoke
he
starts.
did say that we do have them in the basement.
Right, but I'm talking about this system that instead of going to the expense of having everything wired to connected, you can do it, would you say wirelessly?
Wirelessly, okay. All right, the exterior sewer door lock doesn't appear to be working. I didn't know if it was maybe because of the,
What's the word door there?
the exterior door that goes out of the building by the sewer stairs.
Oh, the other front door?
Yeah, the other front door, the other front door.
I didn't realize that was sewer.
I didn't either. I looked at
Well,
that
you
and
open the door and boom, you go right up to sewer. They're having some problems with that, and I didn't know if it was because of the weather stripping or what the
Probably
deal
just
was,
the
so
building shifted.
I'll have to call, we're using Bob's lock and key now. The
But
interior,
wait, people are going out it and it's not shutting properly because they're not closing it properly. So the people in the front desk are having to go out and shut the door. It shuts, but it's not, the people that go out the door aren't shutting it properly.
So that's adjustment of this,
but you said wasn't locking.
I've never had trouble
They
locking.
didn't latch?
I don't,
Locked it.
that's the story I got was not, that it's not locking,
that it-
it's people going out it are, should not be using the door because it's not closing properly.
Doesn't latch, well,
Who adjusted the other,
Public
the main
Works.
door that we used? No, it wasn't Public Works. Somebody else came after Public Works.
Yes,
tried.
Bob's lock and key,
Bob's Lock and Key,
He-
because
he
they finally
adjusted over.
resolved it.
yes.
Public Works worked
Had to
on
do- it had to
but
do-
You had to have Superman strength to open the door.
Yes.
No, that one had to do with the way that the arm was set.
Yes.
Well, that, if this one isn't closing all the way, it's the same thing. It's the arm. Maybe it's worn out, or maybe it has to be
But this,
readjusted.
the
It's a
one on
latching
the,
speed.
the one on the left has additional weather stripping on the one by the welfare office. Does have additional weather stripping on it.
But the door has worked all the years that I've been here, except for the past, I don't know, maybe 6, 8 months.
Right, but we had, when we had that door removed to be refinished, they
Right.
completely took them off and put them back up, so
I
it's
think
been
even
working
before they were
okay.
doing that, there started to be an issue, I think, last spring. Or maybe it's been more than a year. But, so that, it leads us all back to Bob's Lock and Key, does it not?
I'm sorry?
It leads us all back to Bob's Lock and Key.
Yes, I mean, if the door isn't locking because of the locking mechanisms, what opens and closes the doors, or for
Well,
how
there's
that.
locking and there's shutting. So up above is the shutter,
Mhm,
and the door down here is the lock.
mhm.
Either and I lock it, usually if selectmen's meeting, it's one thing we check. I haven't had a problem. You know, I might have to pull it shut and then lock it,
Mhm.
but it works. But they're gonna be here anyway, so they can check. Does anybody object to having Bob Lock and Key adjust that door?
I'm gonna take a look at it
I
when
think
we
it's
leave
an
the meeting. I
expense
think it's low.
that we should
Don't-
just not be looking at because people can't shut the door.
I'll
And people
take a
have to
look.
get
I've
up and
worked
go out
with
and
oil
shut the
fire
door.
door for many years, so installed many door closers, probably latching speed.
Did anybody hear that? John's volunteered to take a look at the door before we call Bob's Lock and Key? Everybody good with that? Thank you.
Take care of it.
Okay, the interior sewer door, since there'll be people working up here, I'd like, and if you looked at that door looks, is bad. And also put a window in the door, get a door with a window.
It's probably a good
Are
idea.
we
so nobody-
talking the door at the foot of the stairs?
Why
Yes,
not just leave it
Why
open?
a window if all I see is a stairway?
Yeah. I would leave, I think
Because
your
when you
answer to
open
that is
it,
when
if
you
you're
open it, you
opening
don't
it
want to
with-
slam it into somebody, but
Right.
why don't we just leave it open? The office at the foot of the stairs isn't used except for a few hours at the end of the day on Thursday.
true, but there are people that come in that go look, and that door is covered by the door.
But it's gonna be used on a Tuesday night when you have planning board meetings and you don't know if the appointments are sporadic, then if there's somebody up here having an appointment and there's other people gonna come up in an hour and they're downstairs waiting, really you should have some type of window in that door because you're gonna be, people are gonna be coming up and other people are gonna be going down. And that hallway is gonna be full when there's planning board meetings here.
Hot air rises. In the wintertime, if that door is left open, the hot air from the downstairs, from that thermostat, is constantly being going to try and draft to the upstairs, making this room warmer and that room causing a draft and cold air flowing in.
Use more fuel.
If that door is shut, then you have the two zones isolated and they can work independently and control the temperature. It's just like if you open your attic door, your heat attic is going to get all the heat up. But I think having, like I said, having a window in there and keeping it closed allows for to separate the zones and not gives me drafts
Okay.
downstairs.
Well, again, estimates are free,
Just thought.
so let's get an estimate to replace the door with a window door,
Okay,
or to
It
have,
doesn't have to be a real big window. It just
or
be-
to have a window installed in the door. Maybe Public Works.
yeah, but take a look at the door. That is a cheap, yucky door.
It's a solid door, isn't it? Isn't that a solid
Solid
door?
core.
It's an interior door, we don't need palatial doors in this,
No. I mean,
Yes.
aesthetics,
fine, but
does it work? Yes.
We could paint
what?
it.
You just wash it.
And I thought if we were replacing that door, we could also put a door in the land use office with a window.
I think that might be, what are we going to use that office for? I mean, ideally, my opinion is that office should be used for the files in the file room. Because if you want to get a file out of most of those drawers, you can't pull them out. They're so full. I use my jackknife or my bottle opener and then pry it up so far. Yeah?
Dory has suggested for Sheena, we've ordered bins. She's gonna go through those. I'm talking about in the copy room.
Yep.
She's going to start going through those and pulling out the big files, the ones you can't put your fingers down in. She's gonna be making overflow files for now.
But that wouldn't be necessary if we used the old office for those files. There'd be plenty of room for more file cabinets. And there would be room for, in the copy room, a table that when somebody actually goes in there and has copy work or postage work, they could actually put their stuff down on and do the work. Because I've watched, people, I've gone in there to use the copier or get something. It's all on top of the copier now. Just my opinion, but we need more room for those files.
I thought they decided not to remove those files from that room.
Oh,
Because of
well,
the lock or something, I don't know. Did they decide to keep that?
I think the way it was left is that we weren't going to be talking about moving anything.
so you don't
I
need
mean,
a window and
it-
a door for file room.
Okay. And then I still need
But that's just me,
to get
we haven't gotten an assessment from the rest of the board.
sorry, an estimate on repointing the town hall, but that would be for something for 2017.
2018.
2018. And
Wow.
also, I didn't know if the electrical work that J.P. Carter did for the sidewalk conduit, if that was going to be charged against town hall maintenance or against the sidewalk project. I haven't received an invoice yet.
The sidewalk project comes out of reserve fund. This was reserve fund.
Okay, so make that
No,
part of
what
it.
does everybody else think? Reserve fund or general fund?
Out of the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think it was part of the sidewalk project.
Peter?
General.
Ashley?
You know what the amount is?
3 say reserve.
The estimate was 1,325.
Could we include in this list having the heating system, the ducts cleaned before we turn the heat on? That should be yearly maintenance.
Okay, do you think, can you find out from GNC if that's something they can do?
Who did it the last time we had it done?
That was a special company that we had come in and clean, I think it was Serv Pro, to clean out the air conditioning vents because there was a complaint that there was mold Remember we had the building cleaned for mold?
Heck, with the wall,
That's when they
We
put
went
in,
through all
when they
that in
put
the
in
class.
this, they discovered mold.
I'll have to go back and look. I think it might have been ServPro. That's things that they do and then, yeah. Okay,
not bad.
I think that's that, and you did that, okay.
Still one more thing that should be on there.
Oh, yep.
When we refinished our front doors 3 years ago, 2 years ago, was it last year we did it? We planned on every year putting a quick coat on it, on the doors so that wouldn't run a lot of money. And Public Works could do that to keep it preserved, so we want to make sure that we do that.
Right, I was supposed to go get the stuff from,
Let's make sure that Brock puts that in his schedule
And
before we get into cool weather. Please.
oh, the other thing is probably
It's his buddy. It was his bid. He worked for Bill. Or Bob. Okay. Where are we
other thing
with
I was
the-
going to ask about the fence, but that would be a later topic.
No, that's just a matter of, there was only one person that ever responded, and he came and gave an estimate of $1,200, and I submitted that. And it was approved, and I called him, I said, we got it approved, and I never heard from him again.
We still haven't, right? You said you were gonna call him back and,
Yeah, I'll keep calling him. I
well,
don't know.
at this point, should we keep going?
What is that?
There was no one that could come and do the work.
Well, I'm sure we could reach out to someone else. How
The
many
other-
times have you called him?
Civil War
The
Monument.
Civil War Monument.
I feel like
Middle of the night.
every
I-
meeting we talk about it and you said you called them and they don't answer. So how many times are we gonna?
I would have to go look and see.
So here's the thought. Public Works could remove a section in the very back and put it there. So at least it doesn't look like this big gap, because way up in the back is pretty well foliaged.
He has the pieces, it's the stands.
Who has them?
We have the pieces that were,
Okay,
but they're down at the highway garage.
okay. So we're looking for,
The posts,
like, okay.
posts.
But like I'm saying, he could get that from the back.
Oh, take the posts from the back.
At least aesthetically, it would
Yeah.
look better.
Yeah.
Especially if we can't find anybody to replace that fence right now. We may have to look much farther than our boundaries.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's gonna be specialized work. It
Well-
really sounds like it's gonna be more than $1,200, so how's the insurance company gonna feel about that?
I don't know. The regular fence people that came and looked at it, they said they would not do it because it would be cheaper to just put up a whole new fence than to put back what was in place. This was a gentleman that does historical registered buildings, putting things on.
Is that a wrought iron fence or cast aluminum?
I don't know.
Catherine,
It's wrought iron.
It's wrought iron.
It's wrought iron, and then, the posts were cracked, they're still there. I mean, it could be
So-
brazed and straightened out if Kevin liked doing something like that.
That's where I was going, so the
And-
posts, could they be taken to, I know there's a welding shop east of Manchester, was it Auburn?
Storm McGuire's,
Oh no, he's down there that does, I did a lot of concrete work for him,
McIntyre.
and I know he does a lot of work like that, so maybe if those posts were taken down to them, they could, or taken to a place where they could be recast, maybe not in wrought iron, but who would know that it wasn't wrought iron if it was aluminum and painted?
It's a fence guy, he didn't pick up our molds, right?
No, those are stored upstairs. You can see them at the highway garage.
Molds, the original,
So,
posts.
okay.
All right, so can we move on?
Yes, Joyce, I'm sorry.
Okay, so Class 5 road project, I'm still pending, haven't done anything. Bittern Lane, I did talk with John Roque, called the other day, so he now knows what we're looking for, and I just have to send the get the fee proposal from Stephen Keach so that Paula can agree or not agree to continue with her project.
He hasn't sent you that yet?
No, because I haven't sent him the rest of the information.
Okay.
So, CDBG bid opening has been moved to Friday. It was supposed to be yesterday. Solar Garden keeps calling me wanting an appointment, and I had suggested that maybe just go ahead and hear them, and then when Lauren comes in, her next contract day, which I believe is September 7th, she can explain to you how she would be assessing something like that.
On August 23rd, I believe it's August 23rd, Sampleton at 5:30 is having, it's Wednesday, is having a public hearing on their proposal. I don't know if it's this company.
It's the same company.
So they're having a public hearing on their solar garden. I'm going to try to go. I believe it's the 23rd of this month, and I believe I know it's a Wednesday, so. Woohoo!
Well, yeah, I haven't gotten to your part
Not
yet.
bad news.
Yeah, lucky. Okay, it is August 23rd, because that's a Wednesday, 5:30. Samerton, I believe it's a town hall, and they talked about overflow, and I think I'm understanding the overflow will go up in the old Grange building by the church. That's if they have too many people. So, the solar garden people, does anybody object to putting it off a little bit more until some of us can at least attend the public hearing?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
And then I was going to talk about the program's going to be. What about R&D payment? Brockton Town. Yeah, he's going to do it Monday.
And it's gonna be cheaper than the contracted price? $1,400 cheaper? I think that's what it said. Do you have more on your report before we jump to?
No, I was just going to go to Tony, just to let you know, but he just happened to walk in.
The conservation deed,
Oh, that,
just
once
waiting for
I,
those to be changed?
yeah, the Scott's office will change it, and then we'll go ahead and record it.
Okay. You've got the new case of the trailer park. Good. Welcome.
But again, I noticed the pictures right now with, this is the I apologize about working all day on parts all around the country here, and then
Thank you.
didn't have time to stop to get any more of these. I only had the one with me, but you guys can pass it around. But that's the finished brochure. It's what it looks like, what it feels like.
I'm surprised people haven't started taking cards from the pile.
I got my eyes on them. I got a lot of friends that are keeping an eye on the guy at the pawn shop across the street. He's out of Lineborough, and he's got the guys watching.
I look to see if they've been disturbed when I drive by. Maybe the big thing.
So the only reason I really came here was to ask a reminder to myself. The part I'm making up right now, these two go in inside each other into the plastic bag, and on top of them is the forward, you know. This card is for your trash. Everything must be within the confines of the covered clothes. Anything on the ground will not be collected. Your day of collection is Monday. If it's a new day, like you're going from Monday to Tuesday, it'll say your new day of collection is Tuesday. So I'll have 4 piles of these things going into 4 different sorts. And I'll be delivering Monday first, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, starting Monday. So they'll have this thing for a week for each day. I should be able to do it day after day. Then it says, on the recycling, it says you'll continue to use your blue card for recycling, and your day will be whatever it is. And then it goes on to say your first day of collection for this cart will be Monday the 21st, Tuesday the 22nd. If it's an off week, it'll tell them, Monday the 28th or Tuesday the 29th, and so on and so forth. And, but the part that I'm coming here for a reminder on is, this was where, how we were gonna get the word out about if you want us to take your old trash barrel, leave a note on it, and we'll take it during, I have a failure. If I'm delivering on Monday, I can't take their old cart. So I think I'm gonna reword it to say, you know, if you want your old trash barrel to disappear, please contact Bernard and we'll make arrangements with you. And then we'll set up a special collection, maybe on Friday, where we do the whole town, just the trash barrels. And for as many people that do want to get rid of them, you know, it won't be the whole kit and caboodle. It'll just be the people that really want it done. So does that sound good?
Sure.
Then you guys can get the word out also as people start asking you questions. You can tell them that that's what we plan to do, to set up a future date to remove the old trash barrels. And I might even be able to get them recycled. If I can find a guy that doesn't mind having the mixture of the different types of plastics together, but we'll find out.
Now, when do we get our blue bins to take
Blue
to?
bins are here.
They're here?
I just delivered the first trailer up to Jensen's.
Okay,
And then the big load is coming tomorrow morning up to Jensen's.
okay.
And that'll have both Jensen's, Country Meadows, and some extra ones.
Okay, from that list that we gave you?
Yes.
Now, are you gonna take care of delivering those?
Yes.
To those people at those addresses?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's I mean, first off, they're going within the park, most of them, 100 and some odd of them are just right there. So,
And then you're gonna give me a list of the VIN numbers?
yeah, you're
Serial
gonna
numbers.
have, every town we do has, we call it Manchester delivery list, Tilton delivery list, Bow delivery list. It's an Excel spreadsheet that basically shows every address, how many family they are, and then if it's a 4-family, there'll be 4 lines, and then the different size carts for trash, and then the different size carts for recycling. But this list initially will only have the ones that I deliver.
Okay.
So integrate the old list that you gave me.
Oh, I know, that isn't
That was-
possible.
it's
Because that
possible.
isn't, yeah, but that isn't even a complete list.
Yeah, but it would give you a semi-complete list.
Yeah.
So I'll work on that down the road, because a lot of that's just cut and paste. Once I can sort by address and number, I can cut and paste into, and it goes pretty quickly. But right now, you'll have a full list of all the black cards, serial number to each address, and then the partial list of the blue ones.
And then you're gonna send me an invoice for those. I talked with Tim and we've just to pay it this year.
I'm gonna send you the rear invoice to me, so that it's transparent. You see that what you got is what I gave you, so.
Okay.
And then, I already have that, I've had it for a month now,
Okay.
but I'll get it to you.
So do you think we'll have any blue bins left over for the highway garage for this year for new people?
I think this list is, this load was 156, so I think it's supposed to maybe have like a dozen left over, but I'm pulling out like a dozen too. So I have some more in inventory that, I can do a per cart cost off this invoice.
Yeah.
You take the 156 divided by the total invoice, that's your per cart cost.
Yep.
I can just keep on selling to it back.
Okay, all right, good.
Because I always do full loads,
Yep.
so my transportation cost is always within that, so. Okay? Questions or?
Almost here. Next year, you say, what is our projected start date?
It's not projected, it's actual. It is Monday the 21st.
Just shut off the cameras.
So the ones that I'm delivering on Monday to the Monday route will be picked up the following Monday automatically.
Ashley.
That was,
Is the whole town starting on the same day?
They're all starting the same week. So Monday's
Got 4
Monday,
days.
Tuesday's Tuesday, Wednesday to Wednesday.
So Monday, starting the week of the 20th,
21st.
well, Sunday's the first day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
But that week, the town will be on this program.
Full program, yeah.
There it is.
And tomorrow morning, I'm meeting with Brock and his
I
crew
forgot to put my time.
to explain to him for changes, and that they're only to accept.
If you forget to put your trash
bags.
out,
And I said, there's gonna be a little bit of a transition period here,
Well,
so
Monday they'll pick it
everybody's
up.
informed and has time to go buy the
right here,
bags.
and
So I was thinking, if we're starting on, the 21st, let's maybe give them like the 10th of September.
That's pretty easy. Only purple trash bags.
I know, but you have to get the word out so that people know that, say they
Oh,
don't
I see
hear,
what
and
you're
then they come
saying. Is
down
everybody
and they're
hearing
like, what do
this?
you mean you're not taking my trash
Sorry.
anymore?
All right, so Joyce is suggesting that you said till September 10th to get people used to the idea that they've got to buy purple trash bags to put their overflow down there. Can we create some sort of flyer that states this, that they can hand out
Yep,
on trash day for those people that typically use it?
yep.
And then maybe include something when these go out? Or no, it says in here, right? It says it in there.
What was that, September 10th?
Give them
Because we've got Wednesdays
Couple extra
and
weeks.
But to start what?
Saturdays,
purple
where they're
bags.
gonna reject their trash if it's not in a purple bag.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can't just
Yeah,
have someone,
sounds good.
because it's only Tuesdays and Wednesdays,
And
so.
For the
we've got-
first couple of
and
weeks.
that's at Public Works, right?
Yeah, and
So
it's,
Public Works, that's something we watch, so that won't affect you.
no, but just,
I don't want to stop it.
no, but so
Anyway.
that they know what's, the Public Works
Yep.
is.
We're not planning on having Public Works sell bags,
No, Cindy's gonna sell.
but for the first couple of weeks from the 10th on, should they not have a couple of sleeves of each to sell people?
We don't, well, they can, but we're trying to get away from having them handling money.
But just for a couple of weeks?
To have
I
them
mean,
sell
quite
bags.
frankly, if they mess up, I'm not worried, I'm just thinking,
It's-
What do they do on Saturdays, Joyce, and Wednesday afternoons when people bring in demolition
That's right, they
stuff
have
that
to
they
collect
charge
money.
for?
And me and Pepe drive down there, they get 2 bags of garbage, you're gonna make them drive all the way back to town hall, buy purple bags so they can get rid of their garbage.
On the day the town hall's open.
Yeah, Saturday when town hall isn't open. Sorry, take
So
it home.
you don't mind letting having them do that?
What does everybody think of that?
And they're, either tomorrow or Monday, they're gonna bring them in, and what I thought would be the best place to store them, because they're, I mean, I don't think we're gonna sell that many, but if they could bring them in through that bulkhead, and then, remember the closets there that
Oh.
Heather had all the food, clothes in? We could just store them in there, and then we can just come down and pick them up by hand, because we can't lift those boxes, we're just.
Sounds good.
So I see this is beautiful. I saw that.
yeah, it's good car stuff. too.
Yep.
I liked it, yeah, it's great.
So the only other thing I just, for the people that get a lot of phone calls, the reason I have calls forwarded to me and me only is because I have a way of just cutting through the bull with the people. When they're excited, they're upset, or they're worried, they yell first until you tell them what they want to hear. I just tell them what they want to hear right out of the bat. Hold on, you know I got missed. We're going to go back for you, okay? So next week is not this one coming up where I'm delivering. The first week of the program is when you may have some people that didn't read it, they were on vacation, whatever. And all of a sudden they come home and they got a bin and they just read it like, oh my God, I'm not going to get. We're going to just tell them, look, throw it in the black barrel, and we will come back on Tuesday or Wednesday. Just call Tony and he'll put you on the list. And so it's like a amnesty week, okay, for the conversion, that crossover period. So if you guys feel free to just push that out to them and then, ship them off to me, or if you want to just have them contact me directly. Everyone at my office knows that if they even start with the word T, it goes to Tony. So before they even say the word Tilton. So. And that's all I'll be doing is fielding phone calls and policing the streets and stuff, so.
You have a little light on your car?
I got a big red Bomber, okay, F-350, and it's noticeable, especially with the trailer on it. Once these guys see me with the trailer once, they know me even without the trailer after that, but yeah, so it'll be fun. The phone will start ringing on Monday, I'll tell you right now. As soon as I start delivering these things,
You can't have the day off.
one of your biggest calls is going to be,
I'll forward them.
they didn't bring one to me yet.
Yes, thank you.
Two.
Yes.
I'm calling as soon as I.
Okay?
Yep.
So, good stuff. Well, I'm gonna go to Staples and amend those flyers to have that little blurb on it and get them printed. I'm gonna hopefully find some Easter seal people to stuff them for me because my office personnel, they're not big on stuffing. They do like 6,000 envelopes every month for billing. So every time I bring a stuffing project, it's like,
Get a folding machine.
no, it's going into a plastic bag.
Oh.
So in the plastic bag is it's called a newspaper bag.
Oh,
A door hanger. So it's got a hole in it, and what we do is we stuff the stuff in, we fold it like a newspaper, put it onto the handle of the cart, inside of itself, and pull down. And so that's what like one crew will be doing, is all those ones you see up at the pawn shop and down in Public Works. They'll have a ladder, and they'll do Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday, and keep them separate from each other, so that when we come with the trailer, they're already labeled up or bagged up and ready to go. But putting the stuff into the bag is the job that nobody wants to do. So, including me. So, all right. Well, if you come up with anything,
Okay.
I'll be on the cell.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bart, Jen.
So the only remaining
Good night,
thing
Tony.
is if I could have some time on your meeting on the 17th so we can finalize what changes we want to make to our ordinance. So I'd like to put everything up on the web at the same time.
You must already have notes of what has to be changed to coincide with what we've done. Is there anything else beyond that?
No, because we clarified that last week.
So could we put those changes in and send it to us?
Yep.
And then we'll read it that way? Does that sound
I like
reasonable to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the big holdup was whether or not to allow the overflow bags.
You mean down at the Public Works? Oh, on the top.
On the curb.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
And that's it for today. I just want to go through the to be signed, because I noticed last week, is this the to be signed?
Did I miss something?
Oh, I'm not sure. Did it get,
Yeah, this is
The
your file.
extension,
is
the
it
extension.
left here?
Give to Catherine and give it to me.
This is, yeah, we'll go to this
Okay,
way.
good, then the fireworks is all set. Catherine, you haven't signed it.
Now,
Yeah,
will
you
everybody
didn't
else sign it?
I didn't sign the fireworks? Oh,
We don't have
please.
enough signatures, we
Just
need one
please
more.
hand that to me.
Wow, can you believe
You
that?
signed the
Like, we
first
should
one
save the
before I
top
changed
line.
the last page, Pat.
Oh, okay. Big, bold letters.
Ask you something. So,
Sharpie?
the,
Let me highlight it.
the Winnisquam Old Route 3 project, we have not heard back from the state. No.
No, that was in high, it's still pending.
So is it hanging with the state, or have we
No,
not?
I have not sent it yet.
Yes.
Is that something that can get done real quick?
Yes.
Thank you. Because then we'll have to make a decision whether we're gonna go forward with the project this year or not.
You know what was kind of interesting down there? The old Route 3 project? The area where Winnisquam Marine didn't want any parking? I drove by the other day. There was a tractor trailer full of pontoon trailers parked right in that spot. No one around, nothing.
So it worked for them?
Well, no, they don't want parking there because
They
it
want
gets
their
in the way
parking.
to try to swing, but I guess if it's coming in for them, it's okay.
Well, yeah, thank you, I was
Private
thinking that,
parking,
but,
that's what they want.
okay.
And wasn't Joe Monk,
I have a couple of you going around.
All right, so, has nobody has any more questions for Joyce, we're good? All right, John, Selectmen reports?
Not too much. We did discuss a little bit about what we were gonna do with our money. Right? We're gonna have that at I'm asking.
I thought Brock was going to present some projects that needed to be done. You know, sidewalks that are unsafe, roads that need to be fixed.
We
We have some pretty unsafe sidewalks for our school children, but I thought we were gonna have present projects that we could look at.
And we're gonna do that all at the public hearing to accept the money.
I think we should have those projects before we go to the public hearing. I don't think it should wait till the public hearing night. Public hearing night is what, 23rd? Joyce, what night is the public hearing, please?
I had to change it to the 31st.
Okay, so even better. So, did you speak to Brock about projects, the extra monies we got?
I heard briefly he wanted to do sidewalks.
Can we get a list from him specifically of what sidewalks? And then if any other selectman has something that you feel should be done?
Well, should he give us alternate ideas, you know,
A few ideas, and then we
Right.
can, yeah.
and then we can decide what,
We don't have any bridges that we own that need any rehab work?
Did you hear that, Joyce? I don't know the answer.
Now, we just have box culverts.
Those are still,
Well, there's still a form of a bridge, and there's sometimes maintenance involved with head walls.
So my question was, are we going to have a set-aside time to discuss it and allow public input, things that people in the town would like to see done too?
people in the town would like?
I have advertised it for 6 o'clock.
I assume at the public hearing, we'll hear from townspeople.
And being that I want to really keep in everybody's mind the conditions of the stones that fell into the water at the island, and that it probably wouldn't cost very much money to just get those to be stacked back up. The storm, when it hit, I think it was 2,100 cubic feet per second going through there back in 2006 is when we originally decided that we have to do something about this and do a permanent repair to it. Unfortunately, we didn't get storm relief or damage or things like that. And it seems like we've got 11 years of, well, what are we going to do with it?
No, let me interrupt you, because that's not the case.
Well, actually, if I could
We
finish
had a
my
DS
conversation and then and
Yeah,
explain
but you
what's
said
going
something
on.
that was wrong.
Okay, well, if
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah. So, my thoughts is that we aren't really getting anywhere with it. It would be nice to at least put the stones back in place to protect what we have from these smaller, normal flows of up to 1,200 feet. And at least try and save what we have there and use a portion of that money for it.
DES is requiring the town, Joyce and I met with them on the island, and they're requiring us to have it engineered. They do not want us to put anything back unless it is engineered, because in their words, Joyce, do you remember this?
Yeah,
They said that if we simply put the stones back, they're going to move again. And that, when we looked at those estimates, just the engineering was over $100,000, and Northfield was not willing to share in any of that cost. That's the
When
stumbling
was this?
block. Do you remember when that was, Joyce?
About 4 years ago.
When
Mike Somerset was a road agent over there, so I want to say 2008, 2009.
Okay. So it wasn't that nothing's getting done,
Well,
it's, do you really, so you're talking of over $100,000, or let's say
I'll
$100,000
talk
just
to
for
D-
engineering?
I'll talk to DES because there are provisions to do temporary repairs to prevent further damage, and that's
Thank you.
what we need
That
to-
would be-
so,
When you
I'll-
talk to DES, go over and talk to Northfield too, because they got double the amount in their windfall. They got $100 and some odd $1,000. Maybe they may now kick in some over there.
I think now is the time to, we gotta do something, because if not, we're just getting these regular 700 cubic feet per second flows that are eroding away at the island, and it will eventually disappear slowly.
Well, just understand that it isn't
I'll
that the
talk to
Board of
DES.
Selectmen in Tilton are not doing anything about it, or just letting it ride.
Right.
Okay.
But I'll jump in, call to DES.
What about talking to Brock about?
Is a permit required for non-mechanized repairs?
And that's one good, I'll call DES and talk to them about it.
Because in the past, if
Thank
you
you.
didn't use heavy equipment, you could manually move stuff around.
Tripod and,
She
Yeah.
specifically, at that time, and maybe in the time has gone by and she's no longer there, did not want us to even manually put those blocks in place. Which I didn't, I just thought in my mind, there are blocks, it's our shore.
Yeah, if the rationale is
I'll talk
because
to
it'll
him.
happen again, then no harm to do it.
Do you have anything else?
no, that's it. Just
Thank you. Pat?
I have a couple of things. I'm sorry I didn't bring it with me, but we got a letter today with Judy Souzadelis' resignation from the executive board today with regret, health issues. There is another woman that is willing to step up, and she's going to fill in an application. She's going to pick it up with Gail. To the executive committee, she's volunteered for a little over a year or so now with the senior center. So the executive committee is going to meet with her in a couple of weeks. The other thing I wanted to bring up was that I know other towns, so this is probably a question for Joyce, other towns are now starting to move forward to enact legislation or getting it ready for town vote for Keno to be brought in their town. Because it's been passed, the towns have to accept it, though, in order for it to happen. And there's many businesses that have asked for that to happen in town.
What is the benefit to the town?
Full-day kindergarten.
Yeah. So that would be a district issue, right? No?
No, it would be a town issue. It depends on the town if they accept
But we
it or
belong
not.
to a school district, so would the town of Tilton be, if we allowed Keno, would we be the only ones funding all the kindergarten for the district that's shared by two of the communities? And the point is, if Tilton is going to consider it, we should talk Samerton and Northfield into it as well.
They would have to have a place in order for, like Northfield, it would probably have to be a restaurant or someplace
And
that
what would
sells
our-
lottery.
What would our portion of
would
that
have to
be?
We'd have to figure that out from the lottery.
And do we have to give it a, I mean, that's an
It
interesting.
depends.
How do they work it
right.
out for people who are in districts? I guess that's my question.
It depends on how many people that sell lottery sign up to sell Keno as well. And a lot of the restaurants will do that. So the restaurants that kind of sell lottery will also sell Keno.
So-
They have TVs and things like that.
So we need a copy of the law.
Right. Joyce, can you kind of look into that? That would need a copy of the law. I know Franklin now has put that forward for a vote. That's the only one nearby us, and I know Concord's going forward to putting that through. But each town has to vote on it individually to say yay or nay that they want it in their town. And then I don't know how it's distributed among a proportionate, how it's given to the town, or how we benefit. And that's kind of where I'm at with that.
so we actually have no choice. It's the voters. We just have to put it on the
The
ballot.
legislative body.
Right, but a portion of it comes back to us for the kindergartens. But like Catherine said, Northfield, where would you, there's only a couple places you would be able to have it, unless they had it at like Highlands or something, or
Laundromat.
Sanperton, there's a couple of places. Not very many.
We're doing Vegas.
All I could think is that my grandfather would roll over in his grave to think that we're funding the kids' education with liquor, gambling, and cigarettes. But
That's interesting. Good point. Anything else, Pat?
The employee barbecue from 12 to 2. So far, we have hamburgers, hot dogs, a couple of salads, garden salad, fruit salad, We have water and juice, water and flavored water and a couple of sodas.
And that's gonna be soda too.
And condiment, right? Chips and peppers and whatever.
Yeah, which Joyce, if you can remind me, I need the credit card to get that stuff.
Yes.
So,
Very nice. Thank you both for organizing that.
be there or be square.
Just say.
I'm gonna be square.
I know, but you're gonna be sick.
So,
Remember?
you know,
Cold,
now,
you got a cold coming on?
1 o'clock, you're gonna feel
Appointment.
very crazy, you're gonna have to go home.
Yeah. No, about 10 o'clock, so, because it's
Check
12
always.
to 2.
Right, well. I'm sorry. Ashley, do you have anything for us tonight?
My update was the employee party and so.
I just have one thing. I would like to wish I guess it's a little premature, but a happy birthday to Selectman Constantino.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
That was it.
Are we gonna sing?
No,
I'm not.
Okay.
No, Pat will sing.
We're all on
I
diet.
retired after
listen,
that.
We're all watching what we're eating.
the first 65 years of my life as a child was a bitch. 66 is going to be, as an adult boy, going to be a good one. That's all I say. Thanks,
So-
appreciate it.
Not wanting to interrupt Pat, even before I forgot the thought, I held a note up for John that says, we need to own it. So we should, I know we've been talking about the island, but we need to really go forward with that.
I agree.
Northfield has expressed that they would really like to be out from under ownership of it.
Right.
So whatever we need to do, we should go
Scott has
forward.
talked about that before too.
Yeah, many have.
So we should get back in touch with him.
So I have, I'm sorry.
Would they give us some type of cash, just with the island to take over the?
Don't count on it.
I don't think so. I think they see that since the bridge comes to Tilton, we obviously use it more than they do, and I think that's how they look at it. But it's a discussion we should have with them. I have one quick thing. I talked to you about a bookcase for up on the stage, and it wasn't my idea, but somebody said Home Depot has various shelving units to the very utilitarian metal that you see in a garage. And I think they said they run about, I thought they said around $40 to a wooden bookcase like this, which they can run up to $100. So if you don't have an objection, if I could get your approval to just purchase a bookcase at Home Depot, maybe with Brock's input.
No.
Get some old apple boxes and just stack them. You can put the books in them.
A bookcase like this?
I don't care. Just
No.
do it. No?
A shelving like that, you mean?
No, a bookcase.
No. Catherine, you're going to be very disappointed in 6 months to a year down the road where your books are going to, the weight of your books are going to sag. You're better off spending $60 or $50 on wood and let Leland make you a bookcase in a week, and that will be sturdy enough to hold your books. Seriously, $50 or $60 and make you a bookcase that's going to stand up to time. Look at the sag
And are
on
we
these
taking-
books right here.
Well,
Look
I
at
know,
them.
but that's, but I mean, that's the same type of shelving, but I mean, if you, so my question is, does Brock have time, is Brock able to spare Leland to be making a bookcase? Or is his time spent better out repairing?
Even if we,
Or is it rainy day weather?
even if we paid Leland to do it when he was at home, we could do it. And after 3:30, we could do it.
How does everybody feel about that?
I would
I was
love
just
to do
looking for an
that.
inexpensive way out.
And I think that's
Unfortunately, inexpensive way out ends up with something that you're gonna be,
The expensive
happy.
way.
Right.
the
I've
real
done
wood
it.
is the
With the
wood.
books that you're carrying over there and all the things that you've got, it's
I
gonna
guess it is
end
pretty
up,
weighty.
right. I
Like
don't think you're
books,
gonna
not
be happy.
computers, so keep that in mind.
You've got some really heavy metal in the middle there that's not allowing it to sag. In
Okay.
the bookcase, you don't have that middle piece.
Ashley, are you following this conversation? What do you think?
I don't know, like Goodwill or,
I looked at Goodwill in Concord.
I'll tell you where the other place to look is PICK.
I just want to do whatever's most efficient,
PICK.
cost efficient.
People in, Google it, P.I.C.K. Macomb.
I haven't looked at the one up past McDonald's on the right. I apologize for not remembering the name of it. But it's like a Goodwill.
Where?
Vincent de Paul.
I think
Where is that?
St. Vincent de
It's-
Paul,
it's
over
used.
in Will County, up
We've got all the.
over by, we had
And
stuff to hit to the
it
wheels.
benefits the kids going to
They also
soccer.
have a weekly yard
It's
sale.
the people
At the, across from the old dealers?
Here.
And I think
for
it benefits
passion
the
for kids or something like that.
Where are they located?
Laconia, right off of 106, where
So,
Woodward's
to me,
used to be.
Is it at Woodward's? Woodward's?
Right in behind there, in the
Alright.
storage area.
All right, let me look. They're not moving.
P.I.C.
Okay, well, let me look at St. Vincent de Paul and Woodward's, and I'll talk to Brock about Leland. They're gonna move, yes, I'm sorry, my brain is fried. They're moving my desk and me up there on Tuesday.
If school wasn't starting next week, I would do it for you.
School's starting next week?
All right, anything else tonight? Magic words?
Motion to adjourn?
Second? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye. Vote with
Nice
your
job,
feet.
people.
All right, you got it? P.I.
Yep, I'll go over there,
I'm-
okay.